Hey guys, Chaos Shinobi here. This is a story where on the night of the Forbidden Scroll, Naruto discovers the ghost of his relative Tobirama Senju, who will teach him to be an elite shinobi. Now let's begin. Chapter 8. How much further to the tower? Naruto whined as Team 7 leapt through the massive training ground 44, also known as the Forest of Death. A bit closer than the last time you asked, 5 minutes ago, Sakura shouted. Now shut up and keep running. Look out! Sasuke shouted as he caught movement and felt a massive spike of chakra. An enormous gust of wind whipped through the trees, stripping them of bark and leaves, as it rocketed toward Team 7. Whoa! Naruto shouted as he was blasted off the branch that he had been trying to stick to. Naruto! Sakura and Sasuke cried as they watched their teammate being blown away. What the hell was that? Sakura asked when the wind finally died. That was no natural wind. It was a jutsu, Sasuke agreed. I felt a chakra spike just before it hit. What do we do? Sakura asked. If that was a jutsu, there's no way that a genin could produce that strong of a jutsu. We need to find Naruto, Sasuke said, and then get the hell out of here. Oh, you needn't worry about Naruto-kun. A high yet icy cold voice hissed from the shadows. He will be quite occupied with my little friends. You two must keep your attention here. Sasuke and Sakura watched silently as a tall, dark-haired woman rose from the shadows in front of them. The woman's skin was as pale as a corpse, and the predatory gleam in her yellow eyes sent shivers down Sakura and Sasuke's spines. What do you want? Sasuke asked, inwardly curing himself at the waver in his voice. Oh, don't worry, Sasuke-kun. We will get to that in due time, the woman giggled. But first, you must pass my test. What are you? Sasuke fell silent as he and Sakura felt a crushing cold surround them. The two genin fell to their knees as the air was stolen from their lungs. It felt as if a hand had just forced its way into their chests and was slowly crushing their heart and lungs. Sasuke looked up at the tall woman who was watching he and Sakura with the air of a bored spectator. His coal-black eyes met the woman's yellow eyes and Sasuke gasped as he saw visions of a kunai piercing his skull, and he could feel the blade slowly making its way through his flesh, bone, and brain. It's a pity, the woman commented lightly. One would think that being his brother, you would show more promise and skill. Oh well. The woman slowly drew a pair of kunai and with casual ease, threw them at Sasuke and Sakura. Move, Sasuke thought as he saw the kunai sped toward him and Sakura. Suddenly the kunai slowed down as the world seemed to snap into ultra-focus. Interesting, the woman said as her two kunai sank into the tree branch where Sasuke and Sakura had been kneeling. There were several flecks of blood on the branch where Sasuke had been. He managed to overcome the genjutsu with pain. Perhaps he does have quite a bit of talent. The hunt begins. Sakura, Sakura, Sasuke hissed as he looked at his teammate who looked as pale as the woman they had just escaped from. Slap. A pinkish tinge formed on Sakura's face from where Sasuke's hand had impacted her cheek. Sasuke-kun? She whispered as if coming out of a daze. Where are we? We're in the Forest of Death, the second exam of the Chunin exams. Remember? Sasuke answered. Oh right, Sakura said. Then she stiffened as if struck by lightning. Where's that woman? How did we get away? She put us in a genjutsu or something, Sasuke said. I was able to break it and get us away. Where's Naruto? I don't know, Sasuke admitted. He got blown away, remember? We need to find him, Sakura said. If that woman comes back, we will need Naruto to have a chance. A small part of Sasuke didn't want to admit that she was right, but the larger part of Sasuke, the part wanting to keep him alive, agreed with Sakura. If there was one thing that Kakashi had beaten into Team 7's heads was that they were stronger together than they were by on their own. You know you really shouldn't lower your guard so easily, an amused voice hissed from behind Sasuke. All Sasuke needed to know that the voice behind him belonged to the woman they had run from was Sakura's widening eyes and rapid draining of color from her face. Sasuke rapidly spun around and saw the tall woman standing about 10 feet away, her arms crossed across her chest and an amused smile on her pale face. When in the presence of a predator, one must never let down their guard, the woman said, sounding like a pale imitation of an academy instructor. What do you want? Sasuke asked. Oh, there are many things I want, Sasuke-kun, but the question you should be asking is what I can offer you, the woman answered cryptically. What are you talking about? Sasuke asked. What is it that you want, Sasuke-kun? The woman asked. What do you desire most deep down in the depths of your very being? Visions of Itachi lying beaten and bloodied at his feet filled Sasuke's mind. A large puddle of blood was spreading out from beneath Itachi's body as Sasuke watched the light fade from Itachi's eyes. There it is, Sasuke-kun, the woman laughed. Show me that you are worthy of bearing the name Uchiha. Sasuke-kun, we need to find Naruto, Sakura whispered. Sakura, I don't think this woman will just let us leave, Sasuke argued. If we want to find Naruto, we have to beat this woman or you go find him and I stay behind. Sakura looked annoyed that Sasuke would even think of asking her to abandon her teammate, though she knew that both she and Sasuke were greatly outclassed by this woman. This woman who had made her nearly pass out and become nothing more than a drooling mass with nary a look. Her killing intent was magnitude stronger than Zabuza's, and a nagging voice in the back of Sakura's head was screaming at the Pinkette that this woman was just toying with the two genin. Sakura, make your choice, Sasuke said sharply. Our opponent is not going to remain this patient forever. Sakura was torn between wanting to run, under the pretense of trying to find Naruto, and staying by Sasuke's side. Then the words of Kakashi-sensei rang through her head. Those who abandon their teammates are worse than scum. Naruto is strong too, Inner Sakura said in Sakura's mind. He won't die easily, have faith in him. Sakura nodded. You're right, she agreed. I'm staying, Sasuke-kun, Sakura said. Naruto is too strong to be stopped by a single jutsu, and we both know what Kakashi-sensei thinks of those who abandon their teammates. So Kakashi-kun is your sensei, and he is still peddling that teammates come first mentality. The woman laughed, sending shivers down the two genin spines. Do you know that Kakashi-kun is the lone surviving member of his genin team? That he abandoned his own captured teammate to continue a mission. Not a very good track record for a man who talks so highly of valuing one's teammates. How do you know Kakashi-sensei? Who are you? Sasuke demanded. Perhaps if you impress me, Sasuke-kun, I will tell you my name, the woman said. But only if you do. So it seems that it will be 2 against 1. Very well. Let's begin then, shall we? Sasuke and Sakura leapt apart as a pair of kunai shot from the woman's sleeves. Sakura returned fire with a handful of shuriken that the woman effortlessly weaved her way through. Fire release. Great fireball jutsu, Sasuke shouted. A large fireball spat from Sasuke's mouth and sped across the forest. Such mastery of the gamed great fireball jutsu, the woman commented as she sank into the bark of a tree to avoid Sasuke's jutsu. So you show quite a bit of talent. Let us see how much talent you have, Sasuke-kun. The woman shot forward Sasuke at such high speeds that she became just a blur to Sakura. Sasuke was able to track the woman. In fact, the world had seemingly snapped into crystal focus. He raised his left arm and blocked a bone-crushing punch from the woman. Sasuke bit his lip to hold back the cry of pain as he felt his bones shake from the impact. Sasuke launched a kick at the woman's head, but she easily caught his leg. You are going to have to do better than that, Sasuke-kun, the woman chided. She squeezed Sasuke's leg, causing the boy to grunt in pain. With effortless ease, the woman threw Sasuke aside. Sasuke-kun, Sakura cried. She leapt after Sasuke to catch him, but the Uchiha managed to twist himself in midair and land on his feet. Sasuke grunted as pain lanced up his leg. The branch quivered as Sakura landed next to Sasuke. Are you all right? She asked. Fine, Sasuke said, rubbing his leg. He could already feel the bruises forming on his leg. Do you have any idea on how to beat this woman? No, Sakura answered. I can tell she's holding back and is toying with us. I know, Sasuke agreed. Your opponent won't always be willing to give you time to regroup, and neither will I, the woman cried as she dashed forward. Before either Sakura or Sasuke could react, the woman had appeared in front of them. With just a single punch, Sakura was sent flying off the branch. Sakura, Sasuke shouted. He could tell that Sakura had been knocked out cold by that single punch, judging by the way she was limply flying through the air. You shouldn't take your eyes off me, Sasuke-kun, the woman giggled. Sasuke turned and found the woman towering over him. Sasuke's mind took him back to that night, when he had slaughtered their family and clan. Sasuke had vowed that he would never again be in such a position weakness. He would never be as weak as he had been that night. Sasuke's Sharingan spun rapidly as he leapt after Sakura, even though he knew that he would not be able to catch her. He felt a helplessness begin to overwhelm him as Sasuke watched with perfect clarity as Sakura's limp body drew closer and closer to a large tree. "What the hell, Sasuke?" A loud but welcome voice shouted out as a yellow blur flashed in front of Sasuke and caught Sakura. It was Naruto. The blonde was standing on lower branch with Sakura held bridal style. Sasuke breathed a small sigh of relief. "Where have you been, Naruto?" he shouted, schooling his features into a mask to hide that relief. "Sorry, Sasuke. I got held up by this massive snake," Naruto said. "It tried to make me into dinner. What's up with you?" "So Naruto-kun, you managed to escape my slippery friend," the woman said with an amused smile. Naruto glared at the woman. "So you were the one who sent that wind jutsu at us and nearly made me into snake food? Eh?" "Indeed, Naruto-kun." The blonde flinched slightly as the woman's face stretched almost impossibly wide in a smile. "What do you want?" Naruto demanded. "I do not like repeating myself," the woman said. "I wish to test Sasuke-kun, and I believe I have been interrupted enough." "Wind release, great breakthrough," Naruto shouted without warning, sending a large wind bullet at the woman who had surged forward. "Oh, so we have another wind user," the woman said as she slithered around Naruto's jutsu much like a snake. "But you will have to do much better than that to stop me." "Sasuke, remember when Kakashi-sensei combined his jutsu with Asuma-sensei's?" Naruto shouted as he leapt backward with Sakura back in his arms. Sasuke nodded. "Wind release, great breakthrough," Naruto shouted. "Fire release, dragon flame jutsu," Sasuke echoed. The two jutsus combined and sent a rushing whirlwind of flame spiraling toward the woman. Naruto and Sasuke shielded their eyes from the combination jutsu as it engulfed several trees in flames. "Think that did it?" Naruto asked, setting Sakura down on a branch. "I don't know," Sasuke answered. "We need to get out of here," Naruto said. "The snake that tried to eat me vanished after I beat it. The only animals that do that are summons." "Summons?" Sasuke repeated. "The only summoner that uses snakes is Orochimaru." A weak female voice coughed from next to Naruto and Sasuke. "Sakura-chan," Naruto breathed. "Are you all right?" "I feel like I've been run over by a herd of cows," Sakura groaned. "What happened?" "You were knocked out by that woman," Sasuke explained. "I seem to be losing my touch if a weak little girl is able to stand after being punched." An eerie cackling voice came out of the fire, followed by the tall silhouette of the woman. Sasuke, Naruto and Sakura looked on horrified as the woman walked out of the flames, without a care in the world, but she was not unscathed. Half of the woman's face had melted off, but instead of charred and blackened flesh and bone, another face looked out at Team 7. The woman reached up and tore off the hanging flesh with nary a flinch, and she tossed the skin into the flames behind her. "That was quite a powerful combination jutsu, Sasuke-kun, Naruto-kun," the woman said. "Very impressive but not quite powerful enough." "What are you?" Sasuke shouted. "Since you have already guessed, I am Orochimaru of the Sannin," Orochimaru said with a wide smile. "What do you want?" Naruto demanded. "I suppose have to answer that now," Orochimaru commented. "I am here to give Sasuke-kun an offer." "An offer? An offer of what?" Sasuke asked. "One of power, of course," Orochimaru laughed. "You wish to gain power to kill Itachi. I can give you that power." Sakura and Naruto looked to their teammate who had gone stock-still. "Yes, Sasuke-kun, I can give you all the power you desire." Orochimaru continued his pitch. "All that you desire can be yours if you wish it, and I can give them to you." "Sasuke, think about what this bastard has done," Naruto said. "We've all heard the rumors. You can't trust a word he says." "Oh, Naruto-kun, how naive you are." Orochimaru laughed, sending shivers racing up and down the genin's spines. "You call me untrustworthy when Sarutobi-sensei has hidden so much from you. Or what you've hidden from your own team. What does that say about you?" Naruto glared at Orochimaru, whose smile only widened. "Come now, Naruto-kun, why the anger at me? It is Sarutobi-sensei that you should be angry with," Orochimaru taunted. "He is the one who is hiding things from both you and Sasuke-kun. Oh, the things I could tell you both." "What do you mean the both of us?" Sasuke asked. "Sasuke-kun, do you really think as powerful as your brother is? How could he kill your entire clan in a single night with no one noticing? Orochimaru asked. Your clan, while not the largest, still had how many shinobi in its ranks? Why did anyone not notice what was happening? Surely at least one or two of your clansmen could fight back or make enough commotion to bring attention to the compound. Sasuke stared at Orochimaru in both confusion and suspicion. The Sannin could tell that his words were having an effect on the boy. Perhaps I don't have to mark him, at least just yet, Orochimaru thought. He would come to me on his own, and having him choose me over the village would really twist the knife in Itachi's chest. I have spoken enough, Orochimaru said. Think about it, Sasuke-kun. What you have been told doesn't add up. And Naruto-kun, why are you so loyal to those who would toss you aside without a second thought, as well as continuously hide things from you? I have your answers if you wish them. Sarutobi-sensei will never let things come to light because they would tarnish his grandfatherly image. If you truly want the answers to all the questions you have, I will know. I have eyes and ear everywhere. Team 7 watched as Orochimaru sank into the tree, leaving no trace of his presence. Can you see him, Sasuke? Naruto asked, 5 minutes later. No, Sasuke answered. I can't see him anywhere nearby. We should get out of here, Sakura said. She was leaning against the tree, still holding her ribs from where Orochimaru had punched her. Neither Sasuke nor Naruto disagreed with their female teammate. How far is it to the tower? Naruto asked later on. I don't know, Naruto, just keep going, Sakura snapped, tightening her grip around Naruto's neck. She had argued that she hadn't needed to be carried, but both boys said that speed was the better part of valor at that moment. Sakura was still recovering from Orochimaru's blow and couldn't move at full speed. She theorized that the punch had broken at least one rib because of the sharp pain that shot up through her chest with each breath. Sasuke was racing out in front of Naruto and Sakura with his Sharingan blazing. The rapidly darkening forest was closing in around Team 7, and Sasuke's Sharingan was able to see much easier than Naruto and Sakura. Hey Sasuke, we need to stop, Naruto shouted. I can barely see 10 feet in front of me. Can you see any place where we can spend the night? Sasuke landed on a branch and scanned the area, barely noticing Naruto landing next to him, with Sakura on his back. There is a cave below us, Sasuke said, but I still think we should keep moving. Normally, I would agree with you, but we are all on edge, and with Sakura-chan hurt, we need to find a place to rest, Naruto said. Lead the way. Sasuke nodded and led his teammates down from the treetops down to the cave that he had spotted. What's bugging you, Sasuke? Naruto asked. Team 7 had settled down in the cave and had spilt up the evening into watch shifts. Sasuke, Naruto, and then Sakura. Nothing, Sasuke answered. It's what Orochimaru said, isn't it? Naruto pressed. Sasuke's shoulders hitched. Look, Sasuke, I know it's probably really tempting, thinking that Orochimaru has all the answers, but do you really think that he would just give up that kind of information for free? Naruto, what do you know about this? Sasuke snapped. Ever since that night, I've wondered why he did it. Why did he only leave me alive? And no one has told me why it happened? Orochimaru made some very strong points. How could Itachi wipe out my entire clan by himself? He was the strongest ninja in my clan, but he couldn't do it by himself. Sasuke, I will admit that Orochimaru raised some interesting questions, Naruto said, but there has to be a good reason that these questions haven't been answered. After the exams, why don't you ask Gigi about them? He has hidden things from me too. He knows who my parents were but won't tell me. He says I'm not strong enough. Sasuke looked at his blonde teammate, being reminded that Naruto was also an orphan and didn't even know who his parents were, let alone have any memories of them. Sasuke, I can't make your choice for you, Naruto said. Just don't make your decision without getting all the information. If Orochimaru does have information about what happened to your family, you have to know that anything he says will be twisted to make the village look bad. Sasuke nodded. I know that, but it's still agonizing not knowing, isn't it? He asked. Naruto gave a single nod in response. If we were to ask the Hokage, and he doesn't give us our answers, what will you do? I don't know, Naruto admitted. I will have to see why Gigi won't tell me. I can't give you a better answer than that. I guess you're right for once, Sasuke quipped. Naruto rolled his eyes at his teammate's comment. You know that tomorrow is going to be hell, Naruto said. We might have both scrolls, but the other teams will be on the lookout. And there's what Orochimaru said, having eyes and ears everywhere. We have to assume that any team that we run into is working for Orochimaru, even those from Konoha. Sasuke grunted in agreement. You can take off now. I'll send out some shadow clones to scout and patrol around, Naruto said. They'll warn me if any other teams come by. Sasuke shot Naruto a grateful look and turned from the cave mouth. Naruto watched as Sasuke unpacked his bedroll and lay down near Sakura. Turning back to the outside forest, Naruto summoned a dozen shadow clones and had them scatter into the woods. He then pulled out several slips of paper and stuck them around the cave mouth. Barrier. For corners barrier, he muttered. The mouth of the cave shimmered slightly as Naruto's barrier erected itself. The blonde had read about the use of barrier jutsus while studying Fuinjutsu and decided to try and incorporate it into his skill set. The four corners barrier was the only one that Naruto could use, and it was really only an alarm barrier. Any jutsu, C rank or higher, would shatter it. But as long as it alerted Team 7, it would serve its purpose. Why didn't you wake me up? Sakura growled. Well, Sakura-chan, you needed more sleep and you looked so peaceful that we couldn't bring ourselves to wake you up, Naruto stammered, sweat trickling down the back of his neck. And besides, with my clones and barrier, there was no way someone could sneak up on us. Hey, don't drag me into this, Sasuke said. Sakura glared at her blonde teammate. Look, we need to keep moving, Sasuke said sharply, ending Naruto and Sakura's argument. We can't be out in the open for too much longer or we'll be spotted. Naruto and Sakura fell silent and nodded. Team 7 turned from their sanctuary and out toward the forest of death. Let's go, Sasuke ordered, and the three genin raced off back into the forest. Look out, Sasuke shouted as Team 7 leapt from branch to branch. They had only been running for an hour or so when Sasuke's Sharingan had caught the glint of a kunai speeding toward them. Team 7 halted as a kunai struck deep into the branch they had landed on. Come on out. We know you are there, Sasuke barked as Team 7 fell into a defensive position, back to back in a triangle formation. Scatter, Naruto ordered as a rain of Senbon needles came speeding down at Team 7 from the treetops. Team 7 easily dodged the needles and regrouped just as a trio of ninja descended from the treetops. Looks like we caught a bunch of tree rats, the tallest ninja sneered. Give up, you brats, you are surrounded and outclassed. Just hand over any scrolls that you have and maybe, just maybe, we'll let you go. Why don't you make us? Naruto growled. You won't get our scroll without a fight. You asked for it, the ninja said. Amusement glittered in the man's dark green eyes as he reached up and pulled the umbrella from his back. Tossing the umbrella into the air, he shouted, Ninpu, needle rain. Needles began spitting down toward Team 7. Wind release, great breakthrough, Naruto countered, firing a large wind bullet at the needles, knocking them from the air. So, it looks like the leaf brats know how to play, the lone female ninja sneered. Good. It's been much too boring so far. Water release, water bullet. Several fist-sized blobs of water shot from the woman's mouth and sped toward Team 7. The Konoha genin easily avoided the attack and readied themselves for a follow-up, but it never came. The enemy ninja continued to pepper Team 7 with long-range attacks. Naruto continued firing back with wind bullets to knock aside any attacks that came close. What are these guys doing? Naruto asked as he sent another wind bullet at the enemy. All they've done is pepper us with these weak attacks. Naruto, it's time to counterattack, Sasuke barked. Flush them out. Right, Naruto shouted. Multi-shadow clone. Dozens of Narutos burst out of the smoke and rushed toward the enemy ninja. Oh, how cute. One of the leaf brats can make clones, the short male ninja said. Well, two can play at that game. All around Team 7, black shadows rose from the trees and ground and solidified into clones of the shorter Rain Ninja. Get them, he shouted. The clones of the Rain Ninja charged Team 7 at their creator's order. The clones of Naruto all grinned as one. What are you smiling at? The short Rain Ninja sneered. At how dumb you are, one of the clones said. What they? A high scream cut off the man's question as Team 7, which had hidden in the smoke from Naruto's jutsu, reappeared behind the Rain Ninja. Each member had a kunai in their hand, and they were placed at the throats of the Rain Ninja. Call off the clones or they will be the last thing you ever see, Sasuke ordered. Fine, the clone maker growled. The clones sank back into puddles of black. What? Team 7 shouted as the rain ninja they had been holding at kunai point also dissolved. Did you really think we would be fooled so easily? A laughing voice called down from the treetops. Switching out with clones is one of the oldest tricks in the book. The 3 rain ninja fell down from the trees, landing on each member of Team 7. Naruto's, Sasuke's and Sakura's eyes all widened as they struggled for a moment before they felt the cold sting of a kunai slip between their ribs. The 3 rain ninja grinned at each other. Poof! The impaled bodies of Team 7 vanished with subdued puffs of smoke. Fooled you. Naruto's own laughing voice echoed around the rain ninja. Several dozen clones of Naruto dropped down from the trees. Before any of the rain ninja could move, the tables have been reversed and Team 7 had their kunai at the throats of the rain ninja. Where's your scroll? Sasuke snarled. It's in my pack, the tall rain ninja said quickly and in a panicky voice. Take it and let us go, please. Sasuke looked over at his teammates. He could see that both Naruto and Sakura were tired and wanting desperately to get out of this forest and rest somewhere without having to set a watch to make sure they didn't get a blade across their necks while they slept. A Naruto clone came up to Sasuke's side and quickly searched through the ninja's pack. The clone pulled out an earth scroll and showed it to Sasuke. The dark-haired Uchiha nodded at the clone. Thank you, Sasuke said. He nodded to his teammates and as one. Team 7 slammed the handles of their kunai into the heads of the rain ninja and knocked them out cleanly. Come on, let's get out of this kami-forsaken forest, Sasuke said. Right. The other 2 genin of Team 7 agreed. Team 7 leapt off, unaware that a pair of gray eyes were watching them from the trees. A tall, spindly tower rose above the trees of the Forest of Death. Its uneven surface and spiraling height made it fit right in with all the tall trees. And it was an immensely welcome sight to the genin of Team 7. They dashed through the open doors of the tower and entered a large entrance hall. Now what? Naruto asked, panting. Team 7 had been running for roughly 6 hours straight. They could have made the run only last an hour, but Team 7 didn't want to go through another fight. So they had to go in a circular route to make sure they didn't run into another team. I don't have any idea, Sasuke snapped. What about the scrolls? Sakura suggested. Didn't the proctor say that we couldn't open them unless inside the tower? So why don't we open them? Better idea than I can come up with, Naruto shrugged. He and Sasuke took out the scrolls from their pouches and opened them. Drop the scrolls. That's a summoning scroll, Naruto shouted. The blonde recognized the writings on the scroll from the Nidame's scroll. He and Sasuke tossed the scrolls down and leapt backward as the scrolls exploded and a cloud of smoke filled the hall. Congratulations, a warm and welcome voice said as the smoke cleared away to reveal Iruka standing on top of the scrolls. Iruka-sensei, Naruto shouted at the sight of the academy instructor. What's going on? Sasuke asked. Why were you summoned? Well, I wanted to be the one who passed or failed you 3, since you were in my class at the academy, Iruka said. So, you passed. All right, Naruto cried along with Sakura. Sasuke just gave Iruka a smug grin. Iruka smiled at the blonde's exuberance. You've grown so much, Naruto, Iruka thought. You have come so far. Now what? Naruto asked. I mean, we brought the scrolls to the tower in the time limit, so what do we do now? All right, Iruka said. Since you 3 got here inside the deadline, you can all rest up. The exam will end in 2 days. There are rooms in the tower to rest in and relax. Once the exam is concluded, you will be called to the main arena for a meeting where you will be given further instructions. I am so proud of all of you. Thanks, Sensei, Team 7 said in unison. Hey, Iruka-sensei, have any other teams made it? Naruto asked. Yes, actually 2 other teams have made it, Iruka answered. 1 team from Suna and a team from Konoha. Who from Konoha? Sakura asked. A team that graduated a year before you 3, Iruka said. Rock Lee, Niji Hyuga and Tenten Noguchi. When did they arrive? Sasuke asked, his competitiveness leaking out. He didn't like knowing that a team from Konoha had beaten. The Suna team got here on the first day, Iruka said. Actually, they beat the old record. It was very impressive. The Konoha team reached the tower yesterday. Ah, who cares if we weren't the first team here, Sasuke? Naruto said, noticing his teammate's mood. We passed the exam and that's all that matters. Beat Iruka-sensei. Where's our room? Follow me. What are you still doing up? Naruto turned to see Sasuke stepping out of his room and into the common room of the suite that the Team 7 had been assigned. Can't sleep, Naruto answered. You? Same, Sasuke said. Why? Why do you think? Naruto asked, rolling his eyes. Orochimaru? Sasuke guessed. Naruto nodded, confirming the Uchiha's guess. Same here. You know that we shouldn't even be talking about him, Naruto said. Who knows who might be listening, and this man is one of the biggest traitors in the village's history. I know, Sasuke admitted, but I can't get the thought that the village might be hiding more than they are telling me about that night. Sasuke, like I said in the forest, anything Orochimaru tells you would be twisted to paint the village in the worst light, Naruto said. Why are you so vigorously defending the village that has treated you like crap? Sasuke asked strongly. Orochimaru claimed to know who your parents are and was willing to tell you, while the Hokage wasn't. Aren't you the least bit curious? Of course I am, Naruto fired back. I have always wanted to know who my parents were. You have no idea what it's like growing up completely alone and unwanted, to have never known a mother's hug or to hear your father say he is proud of you. But I trust that Gigi has a reason for not telling me. When I find out that reason, I will probably not like it. Hell, I will probably want to punch Gigi. But I know he is only doing what he thinks is right. Sasuke huffed at Naruto's answer. The blonde was right on some level. The Hokage must have his reasons for not telling Sasuke anything about that night. But Orochimaru's words had placed a seed deep within Sasuke's mind. A small flame that would not die. What do you think happened that night? Sasuke asked, his voice very soft, almost like the preteen was afraid. I don't know, Sasuke, Naruto said. The only person who can truly answer that question is your brother. Sasuke's head snapped to look at Naruto. It wasn't that difficult to figure out, especially after what Orochimaru said. I am sure that before you kill him, you'll ask him. You think that I will kill him? Of course I do. You are my teammate, Naruto answered simply. Sasuke couldn't understand what Naruto's simple statement was making him feel. It wasn't the same warm feeling that Sasuke had felt when his father finally acknowledged him, or when his mother had given him a hug after coming home from the academy or training. Sasuke thought that it felt closest to when he acknowledged Sasuke after Sasuke achieved something. Naruto, you know you were the first person who has told me that, Sasuke said. Everyone else has just pandered to me about achieving my dream, telling me how strong I have to become just to have a chance. But you are the first one to sincerely believe in me, and you don't know how much that means to me. Thank you, Naruto. Naruto grinned. Of course, Sasuke, that's what friends are for. Friends, right? Naruto groaned lewdly as he sat up in bed, his back cracking and popping. The mattress that he had been sleeping on was immensely more comfortable than the lumpy and thin mattress that he normally slept on at his apartment. Rubbing the sleep from his eyes, Naruto swung his legs off the bed, hissing at the touch of the cold wooden floor. Good, you're up, a familiar voice said. Naruto looked around and saw Sasuke stepping out of the bathroom, running a towel through his still wet hair. Man, I slept like the dead, Naruto said. What time is it? Around 7, I think, Sasuke answered. Where's Sakura-chan? No clue, probably still in her room, Sasuke shrugged. So what's the plan for today? I mean, we still have 2 full days before the end of the second exam, Naruto said. The door to the boys' room opened and Sakura walked in. She had obviously also just gotten out of the shower as her long pink hair was glistening as she ran a brush through it. Good morning, Naruto, Sasuke-kun, Sakura said. What were you two talking about? What is on the agenda for today? Sasuke answered. We have 2 days before the exams finish, and now we don't know what to do. Sakura frowned, cutely in Naruto's opinion, and sat down next to Sasuke on the couch. We could walk around the tower, see who else has made it here, and maybe we can learn what will happen next, she suggested. Sasuke and Naruto looked at each other and the blonde shrugged. I've got nothing better, he said. Let's go. Shouldn't you get dressed first, Naruto? Sakura asked, trying not to stare at the blonde sleep attire of a black tank top and dark orange sweats. Naruto looked down at his clothes and blushed. Oh right, he chuckled, scratching the back of his head. I'll get washed up and changed. I'll bet there is some sort of cafeteria in here. I can meet you guys there once I'm done. All right, Sakura agreed quickly, glancing at Sasuke and trying not to blush and squeal at the thought of being alone with Sasuke. "Come on, Sasuke-kun. Let's go find some food." "Ah!" Sasuke cried out in surprise as Sakura grabbed Sasuke's hand and yanked the Uchiha from the couch and out of the room. Sasuke looked back over his shoulder at a smiling Naruto with a glare. But that glare quickly vanished when Sasuke noticed that the smile Naruto was wearing was completely wooden and fake. Naruto sighed as the door slammed shut behind Sasuke and Sakura, letting the false cheerful smile he had shown his teammates slide from his face. Naruto turned toward the shower, ignoring the slight pang in his chest. He knew that Sakura loved Sasuke, and would always love Sasuke, but it did hurt to see Sakura run off with Sasuke and look so happy doing so. "You should just give up on that weakling?" The deep, dark voice of the Kyuubi echoed around Naruto's head. "She is not worth your feelings." "Didn't we already have this argument already?" Naruto growled. "I don't care what you think about Sakura-chan, but you will not call her weak." The massive fox just rolled its eyes and fell back asleep. "Stupid asshole fox," Naruto grumbled. "That's enough, Sakura," Sasuke growled, wrenching his hand from Sakura's grasp. "I can walk just fine on my own." "Sorry, Sasuke-kun," Sakura whispered. "Where do you think the cafeteria is?" "I have no clue," Sasuke snapped. "I don't know where anything is any more than you do, and you were dragging me along too quickly to see any directions." Sakura's face gained a pink tinge that matched her hair. "Sorry, Sasuke-kun," she apologized again. "Sakura." "Yes, Sasuke-kun?" Sasuke grimaced at the almost worshipful tone that Sakura used when saying his name. "Sakura, what do you think of Naruto?" Sakura blinked and gave Sasuke a confused look. "What do you mean, Sasuke-kun?" "What I said. What do you think of Naruto Uzumaki, our teammate?" "That's a hard thing to answer, Sasuke-kun," Sakura admitted after a minute. "During that academy and when we first became a team, I thought that he was annoying and rude and dumb, always pestering me for dates and just being a nuisance. It seemed like he was meant to always pester and annoy me. But now that I've gotten to know him, my opinion of Naruto has changed. Sure, he is still annoying, but I've learned there is more to Naruto. Like Kakashi-sensei always says, look underneath the underneath. Naruto is my teammate. He can be funny, clueless, serious, and sometimes scary. Looking back, I am disgusted at how I treated Naruto in the academy. Sure, he wasn't the easiest person to get along with, but he didn't deserve all the hate that I put on him. Why do you ask, Sasuke-kun? It is something that Orochimaru said, Sasuke said. It has been bugging me. Naruto is hiding something from us. I've been suspecting this ever since our time in the wave. On the bridge, he used this cold and wild red chakra. The chakra gave him incredible strength, but when I asked him about it, Naruto wouldn't give me a straight answer. You felt it too, didn't you? Sasuke asked, noticing Sakura's look. Yes, I felt it, Sakura admitted. I didn't know that it was Naruto. I had never felt such cold and hatred, even from Zabuza or Orochimaru. To think that that chakra came from Naruto, actually I don't know what to think. What do you think it was? I don't know, Sasuke answered. I thought it might be some sort of bloodline, but then I wondered why Naruto would keep it quiet. The village loves its bloodlines, but Naruto is treated so badly by most of the villagers, so I don't think it's a bloodline. Why then hasn't Naruto told us about it? We are his teammates. He should trust us, Sakura argued. Does 6 months of being teammates make up for years of mistreatment? Sasuke pointed out. Sakura winced. So what do we do? She asked. Sasuke paused as he thought about his answer. As much as I want to, confronting Naruto and demanding he answer our questions will only send him running, he began. I think all we can do is wait until Naruto trusts us enough to tell us. Sakura didn't look pleased at Sasuke's answer but couldn't think of a better way and nodded her agreement. The two genin continued on down the hallway toward what they hoped was the cafeteria, not knowing that a pair of blue eyes had been watching from the shadows. What will you do now, meatbag? The voice of the Kyuubi growled from deep within Naruto's mind. Shut up, fox, Naruto snapped. They will find out about me, and when they do, you know what will happen, the Kyuubi sneered. They will call you freak monster. You will be all alone again. They will hate and fear you. They will run away from you. Shut up, Naruto roared. The massive fox smirked darkly as it faded back into the recesses of Naruto's mind. It's work down for now. Stupid asshole fox, the blonde growled as he trailed his two unaware teammates. The blonde found the cafeteria a few moments later and spotted Sakura and Sasuke sitting at a table at the far end of the room. "So you finally decided to show up, Adobe?" Sasuke quipped when Naruto reached the table. "We thought that you had gotten lost." Naruto just rolled his eyes and sat down, grabbing a cup of juice offered to him by Sakura. "Thanks, Sakura-chan," he said. "Have you seen anyone else? We know that 2 teams have already passed before we did." "No, we haven't seen any of the other teams," Sakura said. "All that we know is that one is a team from Suna and the other is an older team from Konoha. Maybe we should scout out the competition, see what we are up against." "After breakfast," Naruto said before digging into the food that had been put out. Sakura and Sasuke just rolled their eyes at the antics of their blonde teammate. Naruto had just pushed away his 3rd plate of eggs and bacon when the doors to the lounge flew open and the team from Suna entered. The team was made up of 2 boys and 1 girl. The smaller boy was being flanked by his 2 teammates as they walked in. The boy had red hair with dark green eyes with black rings circling them, making the boy look like a raccoon. Deep within Naruto's mind, the Kyuubi stirred. "Now that's a feeling I have not felt in some time," the fox muttered. Meanwhile, Naruto felt the fox stir and felt unease settle upon him at the sight of the short redhead. A subtle sense of bloodlust was following the redhead as he passed Team 7. Naruto also noticed that the redhead's teammates were walking very stiffly as if they were afraid of making any sudden movements, and their eyes kept darting back toward the boy between them. "So that must be the Suna team," Sasuke said. "Did you guys notice?" "Yeah, that the taller 2 were afraid of the redhead," Sakura finished. Sasuke nodded. "We should avoid them," Naruto said. "Something doesn't feel right about him. Like he is 1 second away from going over the edge." Sasuke and Sakura each saw the serious look on Naruto's face and knew that the blonde was not messing around. Both Sasuke and Sakura knew that Naruto's gut feelings were nearly always right. The blonde seemed to have an inordinate amount of good luck, at least in some things. "Let's check out the rest of the tower," Sasuke said. Naruto and Sakura nodded and Team 7 left the lounge as one, only Naruto feeling the gaze of the short redhead following their movements as they left. "Sasuke Uchiha." Team 7 turned to see Rock Lee come racing down the hallway like a train. Behind Lee were 2 Konoha ninja who were most likely his teammates. The girl was the bun-haired girl from the Genjutsu pretest, and the other male was obviously a Hyuga judging from his milky white eyes. "So you guys made it as well?" Naruto asked. "Congrats. Did you guys just make it to the tower?" "We arrived yesterday morning," the Hyuga boy said. "Wow, we got here last night," Naruto said. "You guys must have gotten lucky to find a team with a scroll so quickly." "It was fate that we passed, not luck," the Hyuga said with a sneer. "There is no such thing as luck." "Okay then, have it your way," Naruto said warily. "Sasuke Uchiha. The time has come for us to have our most youthful match," Lee shouted. "Lee, now is not the time," the bun-haired girl said. "For Kami's sake, we haven't even had breakfast yet, and you are already challenging people to fights." "But Tenten, I want to test myself against the Uchiha heir," Lee pouted. "I already waited for this chance. I will not wait any longer." "A spar sounds fine," Sasuke said. "Let's find a place to fight. I could use a good workout." "All right," Lee cried, pumping his fist. Tenten rubbed her brow in exasperation, while the Hyuga boy only shook his head. "Come Sasuke. Let us find a hall where we can display our youthfulness for all world to see." And with that, Lee ran off constantly shouting about youth. "I'm guessing that this happens a lot?" Naruto asked as Team 7 and Lee's 2 teammates followed the energetic ninja down the hallway. "You have no idea," Tenten muttered. "Oh, I am Tenten by the way, and this is Niji," she added, introducing herself and the Hyuga. "You 3 didn't graduate with us," Sakura said. "How long have you been ninja?" "We graduated a year before you 3 did," Tenten answered. "But this is our first Chunin exams. Our sensei wanted to make sure we were ready and that we took the exams in the village. And you are Kakashi's team, the famed Team 7. Naruto chuckled. "I don't think if you can say we're famous," he said. "I mean, we've only been a team for 6 months. Not a lot of time to build a reputation." "Please, haven't you heard about the Great Maelstrom Bridge?" Tenten asked. "Our sensei was ranting about his rival's blinding youthfulness and how his team saved a country from the unyouthful grip of Gato. Not famous, right?" Team 7 all blushed slightly at Tenten's gushing over their mission to the wave. Honestly, it wasn't just us who saved the wave, Sakura said. Team 10 was there too. It was their mission to escort Tazuna in the first place. We were just sent to back them up since Tazuna lied about who was after him. It was just good luck, or bad luck depending on how you look at it, that we were given the mission at all. So what, you guys still went on an A-rank mission as baby Genin? Tenten exclaimed. We didn't even get to leave the village on a C rank until 6 months had passed since we had graduated. The two Konoha teams reached a large hall that looked perfect for a spar. Lee was already at one end of the hall, rocking back and forth on the balls of his feet in excitement. Sasuke stood about 10 feet away from Lee, his posture relaxed and ready, but Naruto and Sakura both knew that Sasuke was just as excited as Lee was. His tells were more subdued than Lee's, but the constant flexing of his fingers told Naruto and Sakura that Sasuke was itching for a fight as much as Lee was. Sasuke, don't do anything stupid, Naruto warned. We don't know what is going to happen after the exam, so don't get yourself really hurt. Sasuke gave his blonde teammate a clipped knot. Naruto has his moments of brilliance every once in a while, Sasuke admitted. Why don't we agree to only use taijutsu? Make sure we really don't get hurt or wreck this place? That is a most youthful idea, Sasuke, Lee said. It is most sporting of you to limit yourself to only taijutsu. I myself cannot perform ninjutsu or jinjutsu, so I have dedicated myself to learning all that I can about taijutsu. My dream is to show the world that a ninja can become strong using only taijutsu, so do not hold back yourself back in fear of harming me. Oh crap, Naruto muttered, shaking his head. Now Lee's done it. What do you mean? Tenten asked. Lee is making it seem like the only way Sasuke-kun could possibly beat Lee is if Sasuke-kun were to use ninjutsu or jinjutsu, Sakura said. Lee, unknowingly or not, just put Sasuke-kun down, making Sasuke-kun think he is weak by needing ninjutsu or jinjutsu to defeat Lee. On the bright side, at least they won't totally wreck this place, Naruto said. Sasuke settled into the ready stance of his family's interceptor style, while Lee took up an unfamiliar stance. He was standing ramrod straight, his right foot in front of his left, with both arms were tight to his body with his right forearm and hand pointing at Sasuke. Sasuke's Sharingan spun to life as he took in his opponent. At first glance it looked like Lee was leaving himself wide open, but with his Sharingan, Sasuke could tell that Lee was in an excellent defensive position. Let us begin, Lee shouted as he rocketed forward at surprising speed. If Sasuke hadn't had his Sharingan activated, there would have been a very good chance that this spar would have already been over in only one blow. Never thought that running into the traitor Orochimaru would be beneficial, Sasuke thought as he ducked under another kick from Lee. Lee's blows, while powerful, were nothing compared to the Snake Sannin's, nor was the boy's speed. Wow, the Uchiha isn't all talk if he's able to keep up with Lee, Tenten said. But then again, Lee is just warming up. What do you mean? Sakura asked. Lee wasn't lying when he said he has completely dedicated himself to mastering taijutsu, Tenten said. And Gai-sensei is a taijutsu master himself, and even he says that Lee is well on his way to surpassing him. While Uchiha is quite talented, against Lee though he has no chance. Don't rule Sasuke out just yet, Naruto said. He's one tough bastard. Truly, Sasuke, you have shown that you are worthy of the Uchiha name and title of genius, Lee shouted. And your Sharingan is a most fearsome weapon, but thanks to my most youthful sensei, I know of the major weakness of your Sharingan. Flaw? Sasuke asked. Yes, flaw, Lee said with a blinding smile. With your Sharingan, you might be able to see my movements. If your body is not fast enough to avoid them, then it won't matter if you can see them. Let me show you the true power of hard work. Sasuke saw Lee surge toward him, but instantly Sasuke knew that he couldn't keep up with the green-clad boy. Sasuke-kun, Sakura cried as her teammate and crush was spent flying across the hall. Sasuke managed to twist in midair and landed in a crouch but still skidded across the floor. How fast is this guy? Sasuke thought. If I can barely keep up with Lee now, how much was Orochimaru holding back? Konoha Senpu, Lee shouted as he appeared in front of Sasuke. The boy's body coiled to deliver another devastating spinning kick. Sasuke managed to raise an arm to lessen the blow, but it still felt like a sledgehammer had hit him and sent him flying through the air. Lee, enough fooling around, Neji barked, speaking for the first time. Finish this. Lee nodded and began to unfurl the bandages that covered his arms and hands. Forgive me, sensei, but to truly show that I am a genius of hard work and have achieved my dream, I must use that jutsu, Lee said. Sasuke-kun, the time has come to finish our spar. And to do so, I will show you my most powerful move, a move that I have mastered using only hard work. Sasuke felt a tinge of doubt enter his mind after hearing Lee's declaration. The Uchiha knew that he was barely hanging in against this boy, and now Sasuke was about to face Lee's strongest move. Lee vanished in a blur of speed unmatched to what he had shown so far, and all Sasuke could feel was pain as Lee's foot caught him under the chin, sending Sasuke soaring through the air. Lee leapt after Sasuke, his bandages coming to life as they ensnared Sasuke, wrapping the Uchiha up like a mummy. This isn't good, Naruto said, concern filling his chest at the sight of his teammate flying through the air wrapped up and unable to move. Sasuke-kun, Sakura cried, her hands flying to her mouth in fear. Lee! A deep voice shouted out. The watching genin looked around for the source of the voice, but Niji and Tenten's heads snapped up recognizing the voice. A kunai came whistling from the shadows, slicing through the bandages restraining Sasuke and setting him free. The two genin landed on the floor and turned toward the far end of the hall. A single figure stepped from the shadows. Team 7 blinked rapidly at the appearance of the newcomer, who looked like an older version of Lee. Guy-sensei, Lee cried. I just wanted to prove that I could. Slap. Team 7 winced as Guy slapped Lee across the face hard, sending the young genin flying. What have I told you, Lee? Guy scolded. That jutsu is very dangerous and should never be used on a comrade. You could have seriously harmed yourself and Sasuke-kun, and then you would have cost both your team and Sasuke-kun's team a chance to advance. What do you have to say for yourself? I am sorry, sensei, Lee said, his head downcast. You foolish child, Guy shouted. Your flames of youth do burn most brightly, but you must also temper that youthfulness with wisdom. You must know when it is right to use such a jutsu. A youthful spar is not one of those times. As punishment, you will run 100 laps around the training ground on your hands, once the exams have been completed, of course. Right, sensei, Lee cried. I see you three have met Team 9, a familiar aloof voice said from behind Naruto and Sakura. Kakashi-sensei, Naruto and Sakura yelped as they spun around. Sasuke made his way over to his team and sensei, holding his right arm. Yo, Kakashi answered, waving a hand at his genin. Congrats on passing the second exams. I am proud of you three. The three genin of Team 7 grinned at their sensei's praise. But Sasuke, you shouldn't have accepted this spar, Kakashi continued, especially without a proctor or jonin to watch. You put yourself and team at risk of being disqualified from the exams. Sasuke ducked his head at the chiding from Kakashi. The Uchiha boy knew that the jonin was right. Sasuke had let his pride get the best of him. Still, being able to push Lee, a genin who has a full year experience more than you, into using a trump card is pretty impressive. Kakashi grinned beneath his mask at the perk up in his student. Sensei, can you tell us what will happen after the exams end? No one seems to know, Sakura asked. I could, Kakashi answered. A minute passed. Well, sensei, are you going to tell us? Sakura asked. No, of course not. What? Why not? You said you would, Naruto shouted. No, I said I could tell you, not that I would, Kakashi said, giving his frustrated team an eye smile. What I can tell you is why I can't tell you what happens next. Well, why can't you tell us? Sasuke growled. Because it's a secret, Kakashi said with a shrug as if it answered everything. Team 7's heads dropped to their chests in unison. Sorry you three, but it's tradition that all genin taking the exams not know what is coming. You never know what you will face in this business. It's a very important quality to have as a ninja. Fine, sensei. Is there a place we can talk alone? Naruto asked. Something happened in the forest that you should know about. Kakashi knew that this was serious from the way that Sakura and Sasuke deferred to Naruto and didn't look surprised. Follow me, he said. So what did Orochimaru tell you? Kakashi asked once Team 7 plus Kakashi were back in the genin's quarters. What? How did you know? Give me a little credit, Kakashi said, sounding wounded. Also, the proctor of the exam ran into him as well and managed to raise the alarm. You guys have no idea how lucky you three are to still be alive. We kind of figured that, Naruto admitted. That guy, he was on a totally different level. It was terrifying, Sakura said. Sasuke nodded his own agreement. Still, I can't express how proud I am of you all, Kakashi said, causing the Genin's heads to look up at him in confusion. Standing your ground against Orochimaru is something that even I would have second thoughts about doing. Team 7 beamed at their sensei. Now, what did you three want to talk about? Nothing now, Naruto said. We wanted to tell you about Orochimaru, but since you already know, what's the point? Kakashi nodded. What about that team from Odo? Sakura asked. They said they were working for Orochimaru. Doesn't that mean he might have others working for him? A team said that they worked for Orochimaru? Kakashi asked, his posture straightening. What team? It was the same team from our mission to the wave, Naruto said. The ones that beat up Team 10. The ones with the headband symbol of a musical note, Sasuke finished. They said they were from Odo, right? Odo Geikure no Sato, Kakashi said softly. They are a new village, just springing up this year, and we don't know a lot about them so far. Naruto, what about that kin girl your clones took to the proctor? Didn't they find her? Sakura asked. What is this about? Kakashi asked. Well, the team from Odo tried to ambush us, Sasuke explained. I fought this one-eyed guy who had this metal gauntlet and used some sort of sound-based attack, using his chakra to direct sound waves to injure his opponents. Naruto faced off against this asshole who could fire wind jutsus from his hands, like these holes in his hands. And Sakura. I fought the girl who was pretty good at weaving sound-based genjutsu with Senbon needles, Sakura said. But I had her beat until Naruto decided to intervene. Hey, I know you had her beat, but I thought we should try and get some information on why Orochimaru had sent a team to the exams. Naruto tried to explain himself. And I remember my clones handed Kin off to an ANBU. The ANBU said that he would take custody of Kin and deliver her to the T&I department so they could get all the information they could from her. This is the first I am hearing of this, Kakashi said. But I wouldn't worry about it too much. The T&I will get all they can from this Kin. And the other two ninja, you killed them? Yes, Naruto said, his voice quiet. They didn't leave us much choice. It's okay, you three, Kakashi said. I know that you three have already been bloodied, but killing people your own age is never easy. Was there anything else that you needed to tell me? Yes. Orochimaru said that he had eyes and ears everywhere, Sasuke said. Wouldn't that mean he could have another teams working for him? Kakashi's visible eye widened at Sasuke's information. You're right, he said. I need to tell the Hokage about this. Do not tell anyone else about what you've just told me. This is top secret. Do you understand? Yes, sensei. The three genin of Team 7 answered sharply. Kakashi nodded before vanishing in a puff of smoke. So Sasuke, how strong is Lee now? Naruto asked when the smoke dissipated from their sensei's escape. You know Lee? Sakura asked. And you didn't tell us? Yes, sorry about that, Naruto shrugged. Remember, I started the academy 2 years before you guys did, so I had classes with Lee, Tenten, and Niji. I didn't recognize them at first because, well, they've changed a lot since I last saw them. What about his teammates, Tenten and Niji? Do you know anything about them? Sasuke asked. We found out about Lee already. Naruto cupped his chin and his eyes glazed over as he thought back to his time at the academy. Normally a time he wouldn't want to revisit. Well, Tenten always hated fangirls and wanted to prove that Kunoichi could be as strong as Shinobi. Oh, and she was always the best in the class at target practice. She never missed, ever. Niji was a cold bastard whenever he talked. Even more than Sasuke, but he was insanely good at taijutsu. Even better than Lee. Sasuke and Sakura blinked at the thought that Niji was supposedly stronger than Lee in Lee's chosen ninja discipline. Well, the Hyuga clan is renowned for their clan's taijutsu prowess, Sakura said. It's said to be nearly unbeatable. I doubt that, Naruto said. Remember what Lee told Sasuke. He said that even though Sasuke could see the moves with his Sharingan, if his body can't move quickly enough to block or evade, then it wouldn't matter. If you can't get hit, then the enemy can't beat you. So we need to get faster then? Sasuke suggested. But how? Well, according to what I've read, the Yondaime Hokage used weight seals to train his speed, Sakura said. We could do the same. But I don't think I'm advanced enough to put a seal on my body or yours. Naruto, you can do it right? Sasuke asked. Probably, Naruto admitted. The blonde knew that he was the most advanced in Fuinjutsu. It just seemed to come naturally to him. But we should wait until I can get Kakashi-sensei to check things over. I don't want to screw things up with something so serious. The other two agreed and made sure to speak to their sensei after the exam. Naruto, Sakura asked softly. Naruto turned to his female teammate. She looked both curious and scared. Naruto, about Orochimaru. We all know what he meant by promising Sasuke-kun power, but what was he talking to you about? What did he mean by things you've hidden from us? Sasuke's head snapped around to look at Sakura, completely stunned that she would ignore his advice to not push Naruto into answering their questions. And she's supposed to be the smart one, he thought. Naruto froze. To Sasuke and Sakura, it looked like their blonde teammate had turned into a rabbit in the presence of a fox or another predator. His eyes were wide and darting around the room wildly, looking for an escape route. Naruto, are you all right? Sakura asked. She had never seen Naruto act like he was now, scared and nervous. He always acted like nothing could faze him, always able to brush things aside with ease no matter what people said or thought of him. You can tell us anything, Naruto. We are your teammates and your friends. Please trust us. They will hate you if you tell them. The deep voice of the Kyuubi growled from within Naruto's mind. They will call you monster and murderer. No, Sakura-chan is right, Naruto argued. They are my teammates and my friends. If I can't trust them on this, then how can I ever truly trust them to watch my back on a mission? That's the point, idiot, the fox growled. You can't trust anyone but yourself. I do trust myself, Naruto fired back. And that's why I am trusting my decision to tell them. Naruto took a deep breath and looked both Sasuke and Sakura straight in the eye. Look, if I tell you this, you cannot tell anyone, okay? He said. This is a matter of village security. If you tell anyone, you will be killed. Come on, Naruto. Stop pulling our legs, Sasuke chuckled. I am being dead serious, Sasuke, Naruto said. Only myself or the Hokage can tell anyone. If you don't believe me, just think, where is Mizuki-sensei? Sakura and Sasuke looked at one another, realizing that they hadn't seen or heard of their former academy sensei since the day they graduated from the academy. Mizuki tricked me into stealing a very valuable scroll from the Hokage's office after I failed the academy exam, Naruto said. He told me that it was a make-up exam and if I passed it, I would become a ninja. What he didn't tell me was that I was just to be a fall guy. Mizuki wanted the scroll and the jutsus inside it for power. When Mizuki caught up with Iruka-sensei and me, he told me the reason most of the villagers hated me. It was because of the Kyuubi. The Kyuubi? Sakura asked. But it was killed by the Yondaime Hokage 12 years ago. That's not what happened, Naruto said. The Kyuubi is a mass of pure chakra that has gained consciousness. Since it is made up of chakra, it can't be killed, only sealed away. Sealed? Sasuke spoke up. Sealed into what? Me, Naruto admitted. I am what is called a Jinchuriki, a human sacrifice. Sacrifice? Yeah, Naruto said heavily. The fox was sealed into me by the Yondaime Hokage on the day of my birth. Actually, I was born just before the attack started according to the old man. And babies or younger children are best because their chakra networks haven't fully formed, and over time are able to withstand the influx of demon chakra. An adult's network wouldn't be able to handle the strain and it would collapse, killing them. But why wasn't this announced? Why are we just learning about this now? Sakura asked. It's obvious that people don't know about sealing. They think you are the Kyuubi, don't they? Sasuke asked, interrupting Sakura. Probably some of them do, yes, Naruto nodded. Hokage-sama told me that only our generation doesn't know about the fox. The older generations know the true story, though. I think that most of the villagers, civilian and ninja, are afraid. Afraid? Sakura asked. Afraid of what? The fox breaking free, Sasuke reasoned. Like you said, Sakura, Fuinjutsu is not that well known, even by most ninja. They might be wary of the fox breaking free because to them, if the Yondaime Hokage, one of the strongest ninja this village has ever produced, can be killed by the Kyuubi, what chance does a baby have of containing it? Naruto nodded, a sad smile on his face telling Sakura and Sasuke that their blonde teammate had come to the same conclusion. But again, why didn't Hokage-sama just announce that the fox can't break free? Sakura asked, tears welling up in her eyes as the memories of each and every time that she had treated Naruto badly for doing absolutely nothing. All he had to say was that the fox would never get out, and they would believe him, right? He did announce that the fox couldn't break free, Naruto said. But some people, I guess, refused to believe him. There is another definition for a Jinchuriki, other than a human sacrifice. They are also considered weapons of war. Weapons of war? Sakura asked, blinking in confusion. Think about it, Sakura-chan. The QB is a living mass of chakra, essentially a massive chakra battery, so that means I probably have more chakra than any single ninja in the village, even Old Man Hokage, Naruto said. That means I can use more jutsus than anyone else, fight longer, and pretty much be the village's trump card. In most villages, Jinchuriki are nothing more than that, trump cards to keep villages out of war. How do you know this? Sasuke asked. The Hokage told me, Naruto answered simply. Well, Grandpa's journals told me. Naruto thought to himself. Naruto, why are you telling us all this? Sasuke asked. You could have made something up. I trust you guys, Naruto said simply. You two are my teammates, my best friends. If I can't trust you, then who can I trust? Sakura threw herself at Naruto, pulling him into a crushing hug, all the while sobbing, I'm sorry. Over and over into Naruto's shoulder. Sasuke ate a chuckle at Naruto's helpless and confused expression, meanwhile feeling a surge of warmth and gratitude well up inside him at the trust that Naruto was showing him and Sakura. Hey Sasuke, a little help here? Naruto asked. You're on your own there, Dobe, Sasuke smirked. The time had finally come, the end of the second exam. Team 7 had been woken up by a Konoha Chunin, the same bandage-wearing Chunin from before the first exam, and told to be at the main hall by 5 p.m. or they would be disqualified from the exams. Team 7 made sure to get to the hall with plenty of time to spare in order to make sure they could see the competition, or that's what they told themselves. To be honest, none of the genin could stand waiting around in their rooms watching the clock tick down. It seems that we have reached the end of the second task of the Chunin selection exams, the aged voice of Hiruzen Sarutobi said from the platform at the front of the hall. Congratulations to the 5 teams that have passed the trials within the forest. You have proven yourselves to be the best that your villages have to offer. Now, it seems that we still have too many participants to move directly along to the third stage, and so we will be having preliminaries to see who will advance to the finals. Kabuto-kun, I'm afraid since your team did not manage to arrive intact, you will not be able to continue. I understand, Hokage-sama, Kabuto said with a bow. May I ask a favor though, Hokage-sama? Hiruzen looked down at the gray-haired genin. Very well, Kabuto-kun, what is it? I have only managed to reach this stage in previous exams, and while I know I cannot be allowed to advance, I ask you to allow me to participate in the upcoming matches so that I might see where I stand with my comrades? Kabuto asked. A bead of sweat trickled down Kabuto's neck as the Hokage examined him. Very well, Kabuto-kun, Hiruzen said. I will allow this as we have an uneven amount of participants, but you will battle in the final match, is that understood? Yes, sir, Kabuto said quickly, coming to attention. Thank you very much, Hokage-sama. Hokage-sama, what do you mean by preliminaries? Haven't we suffered enough? Shikamaru asked. The Hokage chuckled. Unfortunately not, Shikamaru-kun, Hiruzen said. There will be a series of one-on-one matches to determine who advances and will be given the opportunity to be promoted. Oh come on, Jihokage-sama, Naruto groaned. I mean, there are only 15 of us, that's got to be a small enough number. I am afraid not, Naruto-kun, Hiruzen grinned. While the first 2 stages have cut down the participants by a good amount, there still need to be a few less of you. A loud groaning came from behind the Hokage and the other jonin. A part of the wall was moving slowly upward to reveal an electronic blackboard. This board will show 2 names. A leaf jonin suddenly appeared before the Hokage, kneeling. Forgive me, Hokage-sama, the ninja coughed. But I, Hayate Gecko, as the proctor for this preliminary stage, should be the one to explain from here on. Very well, Hayate-kun, Hiruzen said. Thank you, Hokage-sama, Hayate said. The bandana-wearing ninja turned around to face the assembled genin. When your name is called, you will come down here and fight. The match will continue until one of the fighters is unable to continue, or I call the fight. Lethal force is allowed. Now let's begin. Names began scrolling on the board, rapidly flashing through each surviving member until it pinged and the board showed Naruto Uzumaki and Hitsuryu Ishida. All right, I'm up first, Naruto shouted as he vaulted over the railing and landed on the floor in a crouch. Naruto's opponent Hitsuryu, however, walked calmly down the steps, all the while watching Naruto with a critical eye. Are you both ready then? Aide asked. Naruto gave a broad smile and thumbs up while Hitsuryu just nodded. Then begin. The two genin leapt backward and began sizing each other up. Naruto's opponent was a good head taller than the blonde but was thin. To Naruto, the boy looked like a tall blade of grass with his dark green hair and attire. Even the boy's headband cloth was a forest green. What, have you not attacked yet? Hitsuryu asked. Why haven't you? Naruto asked in return. From what I have observed of you, you are one of those ninja who rush in, Hitsuryu said calmly. A ninja who is always itching for a fight. Even now I can tell you are holding yourself back from attacking. Why is that? I guess you're right, Naruto chuckled. I'm not the most patient person. I like acting and moving instead of waiting, so I guess I've waited long enough. Shadow Clone Jutsu. A large cloud of smoke covered Naruto, and Hitsuryu blinked slowly as he saw that over 24 clones surrounded him. So it appears you are ready to begin, Hitsuryu said as he slid into an unfamiliar stance. You may begin your attack. Naruto furrowed his brow, confused as to why his opponent was letting him attack so easily. All right, let's see what you've got. Naruto grinned. With a mental command, he sent a handful of clones charging at Hitsuryu. Naruto froze as he felt his clones being dispelled rapidly. He looked up and saw Hitsuryu twirling a whip that looked like it was made of a thorny vine. Naruto exchanged another look with his remaining clones, and they nodded at their creator before charging in at Hitsuryu again, this time with kunai drawn. Those kunai will do you no good, Uzumaki-san, Hitsuryu said as he ducked under a swipe from one of Naruto's clones. He casually dispelled the clone with a spin kick to its neck. My vine is not so easily cut. I have grown it ever since I was a child, infusing it with my chakra for years. It has never failed me and it shall not this day. Hidden Jutsu, Thorn Barrage. Hitsuryu twirled his vine rapidly around himself, causing the clones to back off. Suddenly dozens of green thorns came firing from the whip in all directions at an impressive speed. Before Naruto could react, his clones were mowed down, leaving just a single one. And even that lone survivor was quickly dispelled when Hitsuryu wrapped his vine around the clone and with a pulse of chakra, its thorns skewered the clone. Naruto flinched as he received the memory feedback from the last clone. That's a very interesting weapon you have there, Naruto said. But let's see if that vine can stand up to the wind. Naruto drew 2 trench knives from his belt. Ever since he had heard that Asuma Sarutobi also had a wind affinity, Naruto had approached the sensei of Team 10 for tips and ideas into how to incorporate his wind affinity into his fighting style outside of just wind jutsus. Asuma showed the blonde his knives and how wind chakra was the best affinity for close-range fighting, as it could be used to extend the reach of handheld weapons and their cutting power. Naruto was hooked immediately and asked where he could find a pair of knuckle knives for himself. Let's see which is stronger, your vine or my wind? Naruto raced forward, aiming to get inside Hitsuryu's whip before the green-haired boy could react. You have the right idea trying to get inside my reach, Hitsuryu said. But do you not think I would not know my own supposed weakness? I have trained myself night and day to make that weakness a strength, and because of that, you will not defeat me. With a snap of his wrist, Hitsuryu's whip shortened and hardened. Now, in place of a whip, Hitsuryu held a thorny-looking sword. Naruto arched an eyebrow at the versatile weapon. Naruto raised his knives and blocked the overhead strike from the sword, grunting under the force. The Konoha Shinobi and a certain Sunakunoichi were stunned to see that the whipvine sword was not sliced in two by Naruto's knives. But I thought that wind could cut through anything? Sakura asked aloud, feeling a slight tinge of worry in her chest for her teammate. In most cases it can, Kakashi said. But as Hitsuryu said, that vine has been grown with chakra, so it would be stronger, tougher, and more versatile than normal. Kusa ninja are known for this type of weapon development. The land of grassy plains has very little in the way of metals, so they must use other means to create weapons, since importing mass amounts of metal weapons is expensive and dangerous. It seems that Naruto-kun is in a bit of trouble, the Hokage muttered. Let's see what kind of surprises he has in store for us. A very impressive weapon, Naruto said. It can be used at range and up close, and you wield it very well. Thank you, Hitsuryu answered. But I've learned quite a bit since these exams have started, Naruto said, including one vital tidbit coming from a fellow leaf ninja. And what would that be? The strongest defense is an overwhelming offense, Naruto said. And the best offense is to be too fast for your opponent to hit back. You see, if they can't hit you, they can't hurt or kill you. I learned that important lesson from a ninja who can't use ninjutsu or jinjutsu and is one of the strongest people I know. A soft glow enveloped Naruto, and the spectators could see that Naruto seemed to be standing straighter and holding himself lighter. What is Naruto doing? Sakura asked. We promised to ask Kakashi-sensei about weight seals after the exams. Naruto better not have been holding out by lying to us about not being able to make them. That's not it, Sakura, Sasuke said, shaking his head and rubbing his eyes. Naruto has channeled as much of his chakra as he can into his legs to make himself faster, it would seem. Let's see how you handle this. Naruto grinned as he vanished in a blur of speed. Hitsuryu only had time to blink before he felt a fist crash into his jaw, sending him head over heels backward and skidding across the floor. You might as well give up now, Naruto said, unless you have something more to show. I do, Hitsuryu said, wiping the thin stream of blood that was trickling from his mouth. That was quite an impressive boost of speed. I will admit that you surprised me with it, but you should have ended this fight with that one blow and there, because you will not surprise me a second time. We'll see, Naruto grinned, his blood pumping rapidly through his body. Hitsuryu rose to his feet and lengthened his vine sword back to its whip form. He then began twirling it around him, faster and faster, until Naruto could barely make out Hitsuryu's form through the thicket. Wind release, great breakthrough, Naruto shouted, sending a large ball of compressed air at his opponent. But the blonde was stunned to see his jutsu crash harmlessly into the vines swirling around Hitsuryu. You will have to do better than that, Uzumaki-san, Hitsuryu said. This is my ultimate defensive jutsu. Ultimate defensive jutsu? Eh? Naruto grinned. Well, let's put that to the test. Multi-shadow clone. The arena was suddenly filled wall to wall with clones of Naruto. How can he make so many clones? Ino gasped, looking wildly around the hall. Naruto has always had very advanced chakra reserves, Asuma said. It is his greatest strength and weakness. Weakness? Choji asked. Doesn't look like a weakness to me. It might not to you, Kakashi chuckled. But all that chakra makes it very difficult to control. That was why Naruto struggled with exercises that only use small amounts of chakra, like the leaf-sticking exercise, tree walking, and the clone jutsu. And he can't use genjutsu. Now for the second part, Clone Group 1, you line him up. Clone Group 2, you've got propulsion. Let's see how the ultimate defensive jutsu holds up to this. One half of the clones each drew a handful of shuriken and threw them at Hitsuryu. Shuriken multiplication jutsu. Wind release, great breakthrough. The wall of shuriken gained a huge boost of speed from the wind jutsu behind them. Hitsuryu, one of the other Kusa ninja, cried as the shuriken closed in on her teammate. The wind-assisted shuriken tore through the vine sphere with sickening snips and embedded in the opposite wall with heavy thuds. Pieces of the vine whip fell to the ground with soft splats. Quite a destructive combination, the calm voice of Hitsuryu said as the Kusa ninja rose out of the ground behind Naruto. Before the blonde could move, he was wrapped tightly up by another vine whip. How? Naruto asked. I know that you were in that dome thing. I was, Hitsuryu said, but you were overconfident in believing that you had me trapped. A true ninja must always have an escape plan ready to be used. Now give up, it will be quite easy for me to skewer you now and kill you if you don't. Sorry, Naruto said. Giving up really isn't my thing. Very well, Hitsuryu said. His grip tightened on his whip, and in response the whip tightened and its thorns grew and pierced the blonde all over. Gah! Naruto gasped before he grinned. Fooled you! And burst into smoke. Hitsuryu froze, feeling the cold sting of metal at his throat along with an iron grip on his wrist. His face grimaced as Naruto wrenched his wrist, causing Hitsuryu to drop his whip. Very clever, Hitsuryu admitted. You have trapped me. Give up or I will make you, Naruto growled, shifting the knife at Hitsuryu's throat. A thin red line appeared along the blade. Your threats do not frighten me, Hitsuryu countered. But I am running low on chakra, and judging by the amount of clones you made, added to the fact that you haven't collapsed yet, Tells me that you have a very large reserve of chakra, as indicative of a member of the Uzumaki clan. Proctor, I give up. I cannot continue this fight. Winner Naruto Uzumaki. A8 announced. Naruto lowered his kunai and released Hitsuryu before stumbling backward. The Kusa ninja nodded to Naruto and Hey8 before making his way back to his teammates. Congrats Naruto, Sakura said when Naruto reached Team 7. Sasuke just grunted his agreement. Yes Naruto-kun, you did well, Kakashi said. You gave us quite a scare when your clone was trapped though. Oh come on sensei, didn't you guys have any faith in me? Naruto pouted, causing Sakura to giggle while Kakashi gave his blonde subordinate an eye smile. Man, I'm beat. That speed boost took a lot out of me, he said dropping to his butt. Yes, that was quite an interesting trick you pulled Naruto-kun, the exuberant voice of Rock Lee said from behind Kakashi. Where did you learn it? Well, funny story about that, Naruto chuckled. I kind of modeled it off of you. I knew that I needed to be faster, so I thought if I channeled as much chakra into my legs as possible it would make me faster, but man, it took a lot more chakra than I thought it would. I had to go overboard to make sure I was faster. It is very dangerous to attempt such an untested maneuver in the heat of battle, Guy warned. It could have backfired and left you injured, and if that had happened during a mission, you would have put your team and comrades in great danger Naruto-kun. Naruto bowed his head in recognition of the taijutsu master's advice and scolding. But Naruto-kun, the fact that you were able to pull off that move shows that you have a great deal of talent in taijutsu, Guy said. When this is over, I shall send you some taijutsu scrolls to help you learn, if that is acceptable. That would be great. Thank you very much Guy-san, Naruto said. Don't go trying to steal my student there Guy, Kakashi interrupted, though the genin could hear the amusement in his voice. Would Shikamaru Nara and Kankuro Sabaku please come down here? A8 called out. The black jumpsuit wearing Suna Ninja leapt over the railing and landed on the arena floor. Go on then Shikamaru. Show them what you can do, Ino shouted, trying to egg on her lazy teammate. Come on, can't I just forfeit? Shikamaru groaned. This preliminary thing is too troublesome. No Shikamaru, you can't forfeit, Asuma said. His student's laziness was annoying the jonin. Asuma knew that Nara men were always lazy and nonchalant about pretty much anything, but Shikamaru seemed to take it to another level. While after their mission to the wave, Asuma had seen Shikamaru begin to change. That mission had opened his team's eyes to the reality of being a ninja. It showed all three genin that the glossed over stories of heroism and rescuing damsels in distress that Academy seemed content to peddle out. All three genin had begun training with a vengeance when Team 10 had returned to Konoha, each now having a reason to become strong. Shikamaru and Choji vowed to become strong in order to protect their friends and never feel helpless again. Ino had seen Sakura stand fearlessly against their opponents, and vowed that she wouldn't fall further behind her rival. Fine, Shikamaru grumbled as walking past his team and down to the arena floor. Took you long enough, Kankuro sneered. And here I thought Konoha Shinobi hated conflict. We may not like fighting, but we are undefeated in war, Shikamaru said. But enough witty banter. It's no fun when the opponent has no wits to speak of. Why you? Kankuro snarled. All right, that's enough, Hey8 interrupted. You two are obviously ready to begin, so let's get started. Fight! Neither genin made a move, both just staring at one another. Shikamaru had his hands deep in his pockets and shoulders slouched, while Kankuro was gripping the straps of the package on his back, looking like he couldn't wait to charge forward. Well, aren't you going to make a move? Kankuro asked. Why haven't you made a move? Shikamaru countered. I'm not a very take-the-initiative type of guy, so I don't mind waiting, though I'd much rather be watching the clouds than fighting a puppeteer. How did you? Kankuro gulped. Your village is world famous for puppet using ninjas, and the large wrapped package on your back pretty much gives it away, Shikamaru said with a shrug. The Suna ninja growled at Shikamaru's casual recognition of his skills. Kankuro pulled the bandaged package off his back and it unfurled. To many of the spectators, it looked like a second Kankuro had appeared, but Shikamaru knew that one of them was a puppet. The trick was figuring out which was the real Kankuro. Shikamaru withdrew his hands from his pockets and pulled two kunai from his pouch. He knew he had to disable the real Kankuro if he had any chance of winning. If Shikamaru didn't get the real Kankuro the first time, Shikamaru would lose. With a speed belying his lazed posture and attitude, Shikamaru threw two kunai at the two Kankuros. Shikamaru's eyes followed his opponent. Both of them, as they leapt apart easily avoiding the kunai. He knows I am trying to figure out where he is, Shikamaru thought. He won't make any moves that will expose himself unless he is sure he's got me trapped. So troublesome. Shikamaru reached into his pouch again, grabbing a light bomb. It was a Nara clan secret how these bombs were made. Many other clans and villages had tried to recreate the formula but none had managed it. Tossing the light bomb into the air, Shikamaru dropped to a knee. What the? Kankuro frowned, watching the Konoha ninja kneel down after throwing something into the air. Arg! Kankuro shouted as the light bomb exploded. Shadow Possession Jutsu Success. Shikamaru grinned as he felt his shadow connect and snare Kankuro's shadow with his own. What the? Kankuro cried as he found himself unable to move. Why can't I move? For someone who speaks so lowly of my village, you don't know a lot about the major clans that live here, Shikamaru said. Now who is who? What do you mean? Kankuro asked. I know that one of you is the real Kankuro and the other is your puppet, but which is which? Shikamaru pondered. Ha, you'll never figure out which one of us is the real one, Kankuro laughed. And you are running out of time. Your jutsu is getting weaker and weaker. Then let's wrap this up, Shikamaru said. One tendril of Shikamaru's shadow vanished, freeing one of the Kankuros. Wrong guess, Kankuro shouted as he raced toward Shikamaru, a kunai appearing in his hand. Shikamaru slowly turned, his eyes widening in shock and horror, as he raised an arm to try ward off the blow that he knew was coming. Gotcha! Shikamaru grinned as he dodged the blow and touched Kankuro's shoulder. What? Kankuro cried as he froze. A wooden clatter filled the arena as the second Kankuro dropped to the floor. The sand covering his face drained away, revealing that the downed Kankuro was a puppet. How did you know? That was easy, Shikamaru said. While our shadows are connected, I can notice any movements you make, no matter how small. So I could tell that you were the real one because your fingers were moving. I suggest you give up. I'll never give up, Kankuro growled, trying frantically to free himself from Shikamaru's jutsu. Suit yourself, Shikamaru shrugged, Kankuro copying his movements. Shadow Strangulation Jutsu. What's going on? What are you doing? Kankuro gasped as he felt something move up his legs. It is one of my clan's jutsus, Shikamaru explained. If you don't give up, you will lose. The closer you get to me, the stronger my shadow's hold is, and you are much too close to escape. Shadowy hands continued to creep up Kankuro's legs, as the sand ninja continued to struggle, but he couldn't move. Slowly the hands reached Kankuro's neck, and stopped there. Kankuro flinched at the cold feel of the hands touching his skin. Last chance, Shikamaru said. If you don't surrender, I will finish this. I'm a ninja of Sunagakure no Sato, and I'll never surrender to the likes of you, Kankuro shouted. Fine then, Shikamaru growled. He could feel the strain of the shadow strangulation jutsu beginning to take its toll. His father had warned him that using the jutsu for prolonged periods of time before being ready was not a good idea. But Shikamaru had vowed to himself, after seeing what being lackadaisical with being a ninja could do, to get stronger in order to never see his teammates in pain again. Gah! Kankuro gasped as the shadowy hands began to squeeze. That's enough, Hayate said, jumping into the fray. Winner, Shikamaru Nara. Shikamaru released his jutsu and fell back onto his butt, panting. Man, that was close, he said. Just a few seconds longer, and I would have exhausted all my chakra. What? You were bluffing? Kankuro shouted, and raged at losing to Shikamaru. No, I could have easily snapped your neck back then, Shikamaru said, his face stern and harsh. But that would have been too troublesome, and could have caused issues between our two villages if I killed the oldest son of the Kazekage in a simple preliminary match. Well done, Shikamaru, Asuma chuckled as he landed behind his student. Yeah, whatever, Shikamaru grumbled as he struggled to his feet. Kankuro snarled as he made his way back to the viewing platform. You lost, Kankuro, a cold voice said as Kankuro reached his team. The puppeteer froze as he looked up at his teammates. The short redhead was the one who had spoken. Sorry, Gaara, Kankuro stammered. I underestimated my opponent. Yes, you did, Gaara said. You failed miserably and lost. Kankuro flinched at the cold, dead look in Gaara's eyes. I'm sorry, Kankuro apologized again. Gaara turned away from his older brother as the board began to scroll through the remaining names. The board's beep drew the attention of the arena. The next preliminary match will be between Choji Akimichi of Konoha and Karen of Kusa, Hayate announced. Would the two participants come down here? Good luck, Choji, Naruto called as the friendly Akimichi heir ambled his way down to the floor, stuffing chips into his mouth at a frantic pace. Across the hall, Choji's red-haired opponent was making her way down to the floor as well. So how much do you think Choji has grown since the wave? Naruto asked his two teammates, as Choji and Karen got ready to face off against each other. Shikamaru learned some new tricks. Well, with the way Choji was inhaling those chips, he still hasn't mastered his clan's abilities, Sasuke said. The fact that he was eating so much tells me that his chakra levels are still pretty low. True, but his opponent doesn't look like much, Sakura said. She doesn't look very strong or fast. Don't underestimate her, Naruto said. She's on the same team as Hitsuryu and they got through the forest. I guess so, Sakura admitted, though she still didn't look convinced. Quiet. They are about to begin, Sasuke ordered. Are you two ready? Hayate asked and received two nods in return. All right then, the third match will begin. Partial expansion jutsu, Choji shouted. His body expanded to 3 times its normal size. Eep! Karen cried as Choji's arms and legs withdrew into his clothes, making his body resemble a large cannonball. Rolling meat boulder, Choji's muffled voice cried out as he began to spin rapidly. He surged forward toward Karen, who was barely able to evade the attack. She reached into her pouch and withdrew several smoke bombs. Clever, Kakashi commented from behind Team 7. What do you mean, Kakashi-sensei? Sakura asked, still not impressed by Karen's abilities. Watch, Kakashi answered cryptically, causing Sakura to huff in annoyance. Karen threw the smoke bombs on the ground, causing most of the arena to be covered in smoke and obscuring the spectators' views. No, Choji, Shikamaru shouted as Choji raced into the smoke cloud, still in his ball form. Man, I can't see anything, Naruto whined. That was the point of Karen's move, Sasuke said. If we can't see her, then neither can Choji, and that gives her the advantage. But it makes this so boring, Naruto pouted, resting his head on the railing. Naruto, stop acting like a child, Sakura scolded, and just be patient. Inside the cloud of smoke, Karen had her eyes closed and was focusing on singling out her opponent's chakra signature. And while she could tell which was Choji's, it was the only one moving around. Karen was having difficulty focusing in on it due to the other signatures that were all around her. The Hokage's chakra presence was nearly overwhelming along with the Jonin around him, Kakashi Hatake and Asuma Sarutobi, among others famous shinobi. Karen also felt the tightly coiled and icy cold chakra coming from a lone leaf ninja standing at the far end of the arena in waves. However, there were 2 signatures that drew her attention. The massive amount of chakra flowing off the blonde boy from Konoha was staggering, and it felt like Karen was being bathed in warm sunlight while the cool and calm chakra presence of the dark-haired Uchiha sent shivers up and down Karen's arms and legs. That chakra felt like the cold touch of a full moon on a cloudless night. Shit! Karen cursed as while she was distracted by the chakra flowing around the room, Choji had managed to find her and was bearing down on her. Karen leapt away and pulled out several slips of paper. The smoke is thinning. I will have only one shot at this, Karen thought as she backed herself up against a wall. Moving quickly, Karen placed 2 slips of paper on the floor and the other 2 on the wall behind her. Let's see if the intel on Konoha's Akimichi clan is right. Hey Fatso, I'm over here. The Konoha crowd was shocked at Karen's shout. They all knew that you didn't call a member of the Akimichi clan fat if you knew what was good for you. I'm not fat, Choji roared. I am pleasantly plump. Rolling meat boulder. Choji once again spun rapidly before tearing off toward Karen, who looked shocked at her own outburst. Karen backed up, bumping into the wall. The spectators watched on as the look on Karen's face morphed from shock and fear into a look of smug satisfaction. Karen sank into the arena floor just before Choji ran her over, vanishing from sight. Choji, unable to stop himself, slammed right into the wall. Activate, Karen said with a grin. The 4 slips of paper that Karen had placed earlier in the match grew white as they activated. Electricity raced from tag to tag, and snaring Choji in a cage of electricity. Fuinjutsu, electric entrapment. Choji cried out in pain as he was wrapped up in arcs of electricity. You should give up, Karen said. There is no way you'll be able to break free of my trap. So give up. Come on, Choji. Get out of there, Shikamaru muttered, his hands gripping the railing so tightly that his knuckles were turning white. Hayate watched on dispassionately as electricity surged through the young Konoha Genin's body, though inside he was cringing. He had been caught in a similar trap during the Third Shinobi War, and being constantly attacked by electricity is no fun. All right, that's enough, Hayate said, stepping in as Karen's trap sent another surge of electricity through Choji. Winner, Karen of Kusa. Karen released the Fuinjutsu and Choji fell to the floor, his muscles still twitching randomly due to the aftereffects of the lightning that had coursed through his body. A medical team came running out onto the arena floor with a stretcher. One of the medics made several hand signs causing his hand to glow a pale blue, and then placed his hand on Choji's forehead. Choji's face relaxed and his body went limp. The medics lifted Choji up and placed him on the stretcher. Choji, Shikamaru called out as the stretcher neared the wall. Don't worry, he's just asleep, the lead medic said. With the damage to his nerves and muscles, it's better that Akimichi-san is asleep for this. This way he won't feel as much pain. Shikamaru nodded and watched on as the medics carried Choji out of the arena. Naruto watched as Choji's opponent, Karen, returned to her team who stoically congratulated her. To the blonde, it seemed that her teammates were not very familiar with Karen. Naruto. The blonde jumped in surprise at the loud shout of his name and turned to find Sakura looking at him, her arms crossed and a foot tapping in impatience. Heh, sorry Sakura-chan, what did you need? Naruto asked, rubbing the back of his head. Sakura rolled her eyes in annoyance and huffed. Why were you staring at that girl from Kusa? She asked. Well, she used a Fuinjutsu to trap Choji. You don't see a ninja use Fuinjutsu as their main weapon, Naruto said. I'm wondering where she learned it. Oh, I guess you are right, Sakura said quickly. It was an impressive Fuinjutsu. What did you think I was doing? Naruto asked. Nothing, Sakura said in a huff, looking away. Wait, were you jealous or something? Oh, course not, you idiot, Sakura shouted. Why should I be? She asked, raising a clenched fist. Okay, Sakura-chan. Okay. No need to get angry, Naruto said, his hands out in calming gesture. Enough bickering you two, Sasuke said. The next match is about to begin. Naruto and Sakura turned and looked down to see that one of Lee's teammates, Tenten, was facing off against the sand Kunoichi. Naruto looked up and saw that the blonde Kunoichi was named Temari. The fourth match between Tenten of Konoha and Temari Sabaku of Suna will now begin, Hayate said. What followed was a very unexpected result for the Konoha Genin, and it frightened several of them. Tenten boasted that she was nothing like some Kunoichi that only became ninja to impress boys, or because it looked fun, that she was going to surpass the great Tsunade Senju, the slug princess and medical genius of the Sannin. Temari didn't respond to Tenten's boast. She just waited for Tenten to begin the fight. Tenten drew a string of kunai and hurled them at Temari with a speed that surprised the spectators, and Temari judging by the widening of Temari's teal-colored eyes, but the blonde Kunoichi reacted just as quickly and dove out of the way. Rolling to her feet, Temari grabbed the large metal beam and yanked it off her back. When you see all three moons, this fight will be over, Temari declared. The metal beam was revealed to be a fan as it was opened slightly to show a purple circle. Tenten only huffed and pulled out more kunai and shuriken. She began hurling the projectiles at Temari, who merely waved her fan in front of her, and the kunai and shuriken were scattered. Is that all you can do? Throw pointy things and run around? Temari mocked. Some kunoichi. Tenten's face twisted into a fierce scowl and she grabbed 2 scrolls from her back. Then try this one on for size, she shouted. Let's see if your fan can stop this. Twin Rising Dragon. Tenten's scrolls unfurled as they were tossed into the air. Suddenly the scrolls exploded and kunai, shuriken, and all manner of pointy things began raining down on Temari, but the Suna Kunoichi didn't look fazed at all. She only opened her fan wider to show 2 purple moons. Wind release. Rising gale. Temari cried, whipping her fan out in front of her. A large swirl of wind appeared in front of Temari and casually swatted aside each and every single piece of weaponry that Tenten had thrown and summoned. I missed, Tenten whispered in shock, as the ground around her was littered with weapons. Her weapons. You did, I won't, Temari scoffed. Wind release, tempest force. The sand kunoichi slashed her fan in front of her and a large swath of wind raced toward Tenten. The leaf kunoichi tried to evade the attack but was not quick enough as the attack grew and widened. Tenten screamed as the wind jutsu slammed into her and propelled the prone Tenten across the arena and sent her careening into the opposite wall. The Konoha shinobi winced as Tenten crashed into the wall with a meaty thud. Winner, Temari of Suna, Hayate announced. Temari sneered at Tenten as she walked away from the floor. Pathetic wannabe kunoichi, she muttered, though it was loud enough to be heard by the entire arena. That's got to hurt, Naruto commented, watching Tenten be carried off by the medics. And for a girl who wants to prove that kunoichi can be as strong as male ninja and surpass Tsunade Senju, Tenten didn't really show much. Don't mock my teammate's youthfulness, Lee shouted, stunned that Naruto would say something like that. I'm not mocking Tenten Lee, Naruto argued. I am just saying that Tenten only showed that she can throw weapons. She is amazingly accurate and all but one has to wonder what else she can do, especially with your sensei, a world-famous taijutsu master, teaching her. Lee looked like he still wanted to argue with Naruto, but the hand of his sensei gave him pause. Lee, Naruto-kun is correct, Guy said. Tenten is a wonderful student and very youthful in her pursuit of her dream, but she is single-minded in her use of weapons. But she does not broaden her horizons in combating her weaknesses. Hopefully this defeat will most certainly stoke Tenten's flames of youth into an inferno. The board beeped again, signaling a new matchup. Would Niji Hyuga of Konoha and Kenshin Ryu of Kusa please come down here? Hayate asked. Hyuga, Naruto asked. So he's from the same clan as Hinata, right? Niji bristled when he heard Naruto's question, as the teammate of Lee and Tenten made his way down to the floor. Yes, they are both of the Hyuga clan, Lee said. But Hinata is from the main family while Niji is from the branch family. Now I must apologize for deceiving you, Sasuke, but I lied when I said that I was the strongest genin in our village. That title goes to Niji. He is the strongest genin in the village. Is he now? Sasuke asked, his interest piqued. Are you two ready? Hayate asked. Niji and Kenshin nodded. Then begin. You should give up, Niji said. Fate has decreed that I will be the victor of this battle. You have no chance of beating me. Sorry, mate, but I don't believe in giving up or no-win scenarios, Kenshin said with a confident grin. I never back down from a fight and I don't intend to start now. The green-haired boy reached up and tightened the headband around his head. Then Kenshin gripped the hilt of the massive sword attached to his back. It was just as tall as the boy himself. So you are a swordsman then? Niji asked. Kenshin nodded. It makes no difference, you shall still lose here. You talk big, Hyuga, but you still haven't attacked, Kenshin said. Are you sure you aren't scared of getting too close? The Hyuga clan is known the world over for its skill in taijutsu and how coupled with your Byakugan. You are nearly unstoppable in hand-to-hand combat. But nearly unbeatable does not mean invincible. You are delusional to think that you can defeat fate, Niji sneered. I am not fighting fate. I am fighting you, Kenshin retorted. Enough banter. Let's fight. Kenshin shot forward, his sword quickly coming into play as he slashed at Niji. The Hyuga ducked under the slash and sent a Juken strike at Kenshin's chest, aiming to disable his opponent in one blow. But Kenshin blocked the strike with the pommel of his sword, much to the surprise of Niji. Kenshin leapt backward to gain space before rocketing forward, his sword slicing through the air. Niji heard the sword whistling through the air and ducked gracefully and nimbly underneath the sword strike. Niji's right hand shot forward, his fingers glowing blue with chakra. Kenshin twisted his body rapidly on his right foot to just barely avoid Niji's strike. You were able to avoid my Juken. Impressive, Niji commented as he straightened up and faced Kenshin. Thanks, I think, Kenshin said. You are pretty quick yourself. In fact, I think I should take this up a notch, don't you? We've had enough of a warm-up. Niji arched an eyebrow at Kenshin's claim. You say you are holding back. Then show me, Niji said. It will not matter how much you have been holding back. Fate has already decided that I will be the victor. We'll see, Kenshin said. The green-haired boy placed his palm flat on the blade of his sword and whispered something. The sword glowed a deep luminescent blue before Kenshin swung it several times, as if to test its weight. That's better. Now we can start round 2. Niji activated his bloodline, the Byakugan, and readied himself. He could tell that something was different now. His opponent seemed to be holding his blade easier now. Kenshin rocked back on his heels before shooting forward, his blade held down at his hip. Niji's eyes widened in surprise as Kenshin appeared much quicker than before. Niji leaned backward as Kenshin drew his sword in an upward slash, one that would have spilt Niji in two had the Hyuga not moved backward. Before Niji could even think about countering, Kenshin's grip shifted and was now bringing the sword down in a powerful overhand slash. Niji nimbly leapt out of the way and was stunned to see a large crack in the floor where Kenshin's sword was resting. Niji looked up to see Kenshin grinning at him. "What are you smiling at?" Niji asked. "Just wondering when you were going to get serious," Kenshin said. "I can tell you're just testing me. Come on, Hyuga. Show me what you've got." "Very well, Kusa Ninja," Niji retorted. "If you wish to see the full might of the Hyuga clan, the strongest clan in all of Konoha, then I will not be responsible for the injuries that you receive. Prepare yourself." Niji raced forward, his fingers glowing and eyes bulging, aiming to end the fight in a single blow. Kenshin slashed at Niji, hoping to divert the Hyuga's charge. But Niji nimbly ducked around the slash and his arm shot out to strike Kenshin's left arm. But Kenshin rotated his upper body just enough to avoid the strike. Niji ducked under another slash that would have left him a head shorter. However, he did notice that he felt a breeze across the back of his neck. Looking down, Niji growled when he saw that while he had avoided the sword strike, his hair hadn't and was now lying on the ground in a clump at his feet. "Well, look on the bright side. Now you won't be mistaken for a girl," Kenshin joked with a grin. "Let's see if you can make those quips when you are drooling in a hospital bed," Niji snarled. "You are within my range of divination." Niji lowered himself into a peculiar stance. His upper body was bent down over his right leg while his arms were outstretched in both directions with his palms facing upward. Kenshin's eyes narrowed and readied himself. But before he could even take a step toward Niji, the Hyuga boy surged forward and struck. 2 palms. 4 palms. 8 palms. 16 palms. 32 palms. Niji's arms were a blur as he struck at Kenshin. The Kusa ninja tried to bring his sword up to block some of the blows, but Niji was too quick and agile. The spectators watched in awe and a bit of fear as Niji swept through Kenshin's defenses like they were nothing. Bursts of chakra flashed at each blow, and with each strike Kenshin's stance crumbled more and more until the only thing keeping the boy upright was his grip on his sword. "This match is over," Niji declared. "You are lucky to be alive, let alone standing. I have closed off most of your chakra points in your arms and legs. Be grateful I didn't aim for your heart and lungs." "Winner Niji Hyuga," Hayate announced. Lee shouted in excitement, as did Guy, but they were the only noises of congratulations. Most of the spectators were looking on in fear and trepidation at the display Niji had just put on. "Are the Hyuga really that strong?" Sakura asked. "Well, Niji is said to be a prodigy in their taijutsu and clan jutsus," Kakashi said. "They are a tough opponent for sure, and are nearly unstoppable at taijutsu thanks to their Byakugan, but they can be beaten, you just have to figure out how." The board beeped, drawing attention of the hall once again. "Would Sakura Haruno and Ino Yamanaka please report to the arena floor?" Hayate called. "Good luck, Sakura-chan. Wipe the floor with Ino," Naruto said. Sasuke merely nodded as Sakura looked to him for encouragement. "You're going down, Sakura," Ino said when the two kunoichi faced each other. "I have gotten loads stronger since the wave, and I'll show Sasuke-kun that I am the one for him." "Dream on, Ino pig," Sakura growled. "And while you might have gotten stronger since then, I haven't gotten weaker. I've been training even harder since the wave. You don't even hold a candle to me now." "Prove it, forehead," Ino snapped, reaching for a kunai. "Begin," Hayate shouted before leaping out of the way. Ino and Sakura charged at each other, with a kunai in hand. "You will never measure up to me, Sakura," Ino laughed as she and Sakura's kunai ground against each other, the two kunoichi trying to gain leverage on one another. "You are nothing but a rider of coattails. I am the heir to one of Konoha's most prestigious clans. How could you ever hope to gain the attention of another clan heir? Face it, forehead. All you will ever be is a weak little girl who managed to slip through the cracks by riding the coattails of her more powerful teammates. You and Naruto both. Naruto and Sasuke glared down at the fight. Kakashi arched an eyebrow at the sound of the railing creaking under Naruto's grip. What the hell, Shikamaru? Naruto snapped. Why is Ino acting so Sasuke-like, and calling Sakura-chan names like that? That's part of Ino's strategy, Shikamaru answered. The Yamanaka clan is famous for their mind techniques. They are experts in psychological warfare, getting into their opponents' heads and wreaking havoc. Ino is trying to rile Sakura up, to make her make a mistake. A key trait of a successful shinobi is to keep their emotions in check. Let's see if Sakura can handle this. Of course she can, Naruto shouted. Sakura-chan is really strong. She's going to wipe the floor with Ino. I might not be from a shinobi clan, Sakura said. But that doesn't mean I am weak. I will prove to you, Ino Pig, and to the world that one doesn't have to be from a famous clan to become a strong ninja. With a loud shout, Sakura summoned another level of strength and pushed Ino away. Sakura's hands blurred through a set of hand signs. Clone Jutsu. 2 copies of Sakura appeared next to the real Sakura, who grabbed a pair of smoke bombs from her hip pouch and threw them on the ground. Ino leapt backward to avoid being caught in the smoke cloud. Ino's arm came up on instinct as she deflected the several shuriken that came whistling out of the smoke. You are going to have to do better than that, forehead, to beat me, Ino said as the smoke began to dissipate. Cheap tricks won't be enough. 2 copies of Sakura came rushing out of the smoke, angling to flank and surround Ino. That won't work on me, Ino cried as she took off toward the Sakura to her right. My team is known for trapping out opponents. I won't let you try and turn the tables on me. The blonde kunoichi hurled 2 kunai at her target, hoping to disrupt Sakura's attack plan. Ino watched as Sakura easily dodged the kunai and continued to try and get around to Ino's blindside. Gotcha! Ino shouted, catching up to Sakura with a surprising burst of chakra-enhanced speed. Sakura's green eyes widened as Ino appeared in front of her, but that surprise quickly vanished. Ino watched in detached horror as her kunai passed through Sakura's grinning face without resistance. The clone Sakura faded from sight, leaving Ino blinking rapidly in shock. Ino, behind you! Shikamaru's shout broke Ino's shock as she spun around to see another Sakura rushing toward her, with a kunai drawn. You are not fooling me this time, Sakura, Ino shouted as she hurled another kunai at Sakura. The kunai passed right through the clone and Ino heard rapid footsteps approaching her from behind. She whirled around and Ino's world spun as Sakura's fist slammed into her cheek. Shikamaru and Asuma both winced as Ino was sent skidding across the floor and came to a rolling stop in a heap. All right, Sakura-chan, Naruto shouted from the platform. Show everyone how strong you are. Ino slowly got to her feet and gingerly touched her throbbing cheek. She winced as pain flared in her cheek. The tie holding Ino's hair back in a ponytail had loosened and her hair was now hanging freely and shielding her face from view. You are going to pay for that, forehead, Ino growled as she grabbed her hair, and with a swift swing, Ino's kunai sliced through her hair, leaving it only long enough to reach her shoulders. Ino threw aside her cut hair and glared at the real Sakura. The Pinkette's remaining clone had long since evaporated. Make me pig, Sakura challenged. She had been stunned when Ino had cut her hair. The Ino that Sakura had known always tried to balance her looks and being a serious ninja. Ino's bruised face painfully stretched into a grin. Don't worry, Sakura-chan, Ino mocked. You'll soon see the gap between us. The Yamanaka heir suddenly charged at Sakura, rearing her fist back. Have it your way then, Ino, Sakura growled as she rushed forward. The match dissolved into a taijutsu brawl between the 2 former friends. Neither girl had been top of their academy class in taijutsu, and even after 6 months of being in the real world, little had changed. Sakura and Ino were still lacking in skill in hand-to-hand combat, and were sloppily trading blows. Face it, Ino Pig, you can't beat me, Sakura said as she ducked under a sloppy punch and countered with a punch to Ino's stomach, causing the blonde to fall to her knees at Sakura's feet. Give it up, Ino, you can barely stay on your feet. What's going on? I can't move. A weak and pained giggle came from Ino, who had one hand clutching her stomach and the other was holding herself up from the floor in the middle of her hair. Gotcha, Ino said, drops of blood falling from her mouth and staining the floor. Sakura looked down and saw that her feet were entangled with the fallen strands of Ino's hair, which was glowing a light blue. "What did you do?" Sakura asked as she struggled to escape Ino's hair. "I told you that my team specializes in trapping our opponents." Ino smiled, spitting a gobble of blood from her mouth, destroying her princess image in the mind of Sakura. Shikamaru isn't the only one who can come up with a plan to capture an unsuspecting opponent. "Now forehead, I thinks it's time to end this." "Mind transfer jutsu," Ino cried, holding her arms out with her hands in an unusual sign. A streak of white light shot from Ino's hands and struck Sakura in the chest, causing the pinkette to nearly fall over, only being held up by Ino's hair. "This fight is over," Shikamaru said with a small smile. "No way. Sakura-chan won't go down so easily," Naruto argued. "Come on, Sakura-chan. Snap out of it." "The Yamanaka clan's mind transfer jutsu is something that can't be snapped out of," Shikamaru said. "Right now, Ino's spirit is in Sakura's body and has taken control of it. Ino is probably going to force Sakura to forfeit." "Man, it really is spacious in here," Ino commented as she took in her surroundings. "Kami, forehead, how can you be so smart when there is so much empty space in here?" Dimly, Ino thought she heard someone shout out, "That's probably Naruto, that idiot. Sakura isn't here and—" "What the hell are you doing here, Ino pig?" A booming shout shook the ground beneath Ino's feet. "What?" Ino cried. The empty space that had been a brilliant white suddenly turned black with a reddish glow coming from beneath Ino. The blonde looked down and froze when she saw a pair of blazing green eyes glaring up at her. Ino then realized that she was standing on a sheet of water. Two massive hands rose from beneath the water, reaching for the blonde. "There is no way in hell that you are making me lose this fight, Ino pig," the booming voice roared. The blazing green eyes now had a face with them. It looked like Sakura's face, only older, and it had the word Inner written on its forehead. "You don't control this place, Mind Walker." "I do." Inner Sakura roared, her hands closing in on Ino. "Release," Ino shouted. Her body glowed white and vanished just before the two hands closed around her. "What are you, Sakura?" Ino asked, panting heavily. Her father had told her that only those with great mental strength and sufficient chakra reserves could expel a user of the mind transfer jutsu. "I'm complicated," Sakura answered, also panting. Expelling Ino had taken up most of her remaining chakra reserves. "It's time we end this, Ino." Sakura raised a hand and made the ram sign with her fingers. "Activate." "Ah!" Ino cried as she suddenly fell to a knee. It felt like her body weight had suddenly doubled. "What is this?" "A gravity seal," Sakura said, still holding the ram sign. "Right now, your body is feeling 4 times the normal weight of gravity. And unless you give up, I'll keep raising the gravity level until you can't move. So give up." "Never," Ino growled, struggling back to her feet, but the room could see that her legs were trembling slightly. "Have it your way," Sakura said without emotion. She pulsed her chakra and Ino crashed back down to the floor. "Now you are feeling 5 times the normal gravity. Please, Ino, just give up." "No, I will not give up," Ino shouted. "You will not make me look weak in front of Sasuke-kun or anyone else." Sakura sighed and pulsed her chakra twice in quick succession. Ino cried out as she was flattened. "Now the seal is at 7 times normal gravity," Sakura said. "You need to find another reason to become strong, Ino. Trying to impress someone is not enough. The world is a cruel place, you should know this from the mission to the wave. Find your own way, Ino. Focus on yourself, not Sasuke-kun, in order to become strong." Ino had tears welling up in her eyes as Sakura walked up and chopped the blonde in the back of the neck, causing Ino's world to go dark. "Winner Sakura Haruno," Hayate announced. "All right," Naruto shouted. "Way to go, Sakura-chan. You were awesome." "Well done, Sakura. I'm proud of you," Kakashi said with a smile when Sakura reached her teammates. "You did good," Sasuke said with a nod. Sakura smiled at Sasuke and turned to stand next to Sasuke with Naruto on the other side of Sasuke. "Would Gaara of Suna and Rock Lee of Konoha please come down here?" Hayate asked. The red-headed boy appeared in a swirl of sand at one end of the arena, while Lee leapt over the railing and rushed over to his spot, his body trembling in excitement. "Lee better not hold back against Gaara," Naruto said quietly. "If he does hold back, Lee might be killed." "Naruto, you should have more faith in your comrades," Kakashi chided. Though there is something different about Gaara, he admitted. I don't know why, but I feel a kinship or something with Gaara, Naruto said. Like I am looking at a mirror image of myself. Kakashi glanced down at his blonde student with a sharp stare. Could Naruto know something more than we do? Kakashi thought. You all know what happens in Lee and Gaara's fight, so I won't even try and describe it. Would Sasuke Uchiha and Kabuto Yakushi please come down here? Hayate asked once everything had been cleared away from Gaara and Lee's battle. Good luck, Sasuke, Naruto said. Be careful. There is more to this guy than it seems. Good luck, Sasuke-kun, Sakura repeated. Sasuke grunted and made his way down the staircase. Kabuto and Hayate were waiting for him. Sasuke locked eyes with his gray-haired opponent and felt a shiver race up his spine. While Kabuto was smiling, to Sasuke it looked like the older teen was dissecting Sasuke with his eyes. So I get to fight Sasuke-kun, Kabuto said pleasantly. This should be quite enjoyable. I hope that I don't disappoint you, Sasuke-kun. Sasuke grunted, trying to get rid of the oily and dirty feeling that had come over him just from listening to Kabuto speak. The final match of the preliminaries, between Sasuke Uchiha and Kabuto Yakushi, will now begin, Hayate announced before leaping backward. Fire release, Great Fireball Jutsu, Sasuke shouted before sending a large fireball speeding toward Kabuto. The gray-haired teen just barely rolled out of the way and jumped to his feet. Whoa, close one, Kabuto said. You aren't holding back? Are you Sasuke-kun? Well then, I guess I have only one choice. And what is that? Sasuke asked. Now that would be telling, Kabuto chuckled. He reached down and pulled out a curved kunai and rushed Sasuke with surprising speed. Sasuke managed to draw a kunai of his own and blocked the swipe from Kabuto. For several minutes, the only noises coming from the battle were the clanging of kunai crashing and scraping against one another, and the low huffs as both Sasuke and Kabuto tried to gain the upper hand. Kabuto, with his longer reach and larger body, began to face Sasuke on the defensive, pushing the boy back toward the wall. Come on now, Sasuke-kun. Surely the heir to the famed Uchiha clan can do better than this, Kabuto chided, leaning over the shorter boy, the reflective glare of Kabuto's glasses obscuring his eyes. Sasuke grit his teeth and pushed off the wall with all his strength, sending Kabuto stumbling backward. Sasuke's Sharingan had spun into existence and his hands blurred through a set of hand signs. Fire release, Dragon Flame Jutsu. A large stream of fire spewed from Sasuke's mouth and rose high into the air, scorching the ceiling. Impressive, Kabuto commented, pushing his glasses back onto his nose with a finger. You certainly have exceptional control over your fire affinity, like all Uchiha. You sure like to praise your opponents, don't you? Sasuke said as the flame dragon soared down and slammed into the floor, sending flames spewing everywhere. Sasuke's eye narrowed. Kabuto had vanished from sight. Very powerful too, Kabuto said, appearing behind Sasuke. You are quite deserving of the Rookie of the Year title. TCH, Sasuke grunted. Enough talk. Sasuke drew several shuriken and hurled them at Kabuto. Shuriken Multiplication Jutsu. The shuriken multiplied into a storm of metal and forced Kabuto to sink into the ground to avoid the jutsu. Kai! Kabuto cried after rising from the ground and not seeing Sasuke anywhere. Make another move, and I will slit your throat, Sasuke growled. He was behind Kabuto with a kunai to the older teen's throat. Excellent use of your Sharingan, Sasuke-kun, Kabuto said, acting as if there was nothing wrong with having a kunai at his throat. You are truly talented to put me under a genjutsu with just a glance. It seems that you have won this fight, Proctor. I give up. Winner by forfeit, Sasuke Uchiha, Hayate announced. Sasuke lowered and holstered his kunai. All right, Naruto shouted, pumping his fist in excitement. We all won. We did it, Sakura squealed. Team 7 rocks. Kakashi grinned down at his genin. He was immensely proud of the 3 young shinobi under his command. They had certainly grown from the pathetic lumps of clay that they had been only 6 months ago. Yes, well done, Sasuke-kun. Well done to all the victors, the Hokage said. But your trials do not end here. You 8 winners have advanced to the 3rd stage. 3rd stage? Sakura asked. Yes, in 1 month's time, you will be pitted against one another in front of the village, guests and other Kages to show if you have what it takes to be promoted, Hiruzen said. You will all draw numbered lots to see who your opponents shall be. Anko, the proctor of the second exam, Anko, stepped forward with a box in her hands. All right, you brats. Each one of you will get a number, and then you'll show those numbers to me so we can figure out the tournament order, she ordered. Tournament? Shikamaru asked. Yes, the third exam will be a series of one-on-one matches in which all of you will have the chance to show your skills, Hiruzen said. The format will be a tournament. Won't that mean only one person can be promoted? Temari asked. No, winning the tournament will not necessarily mean you will be promoted, Hiruzen said with a smile. Nor will losing your first match eliminate you from being promoted. Of course, the more times you fight, the more opportunities you will have to impress the judges. Anko came to each of the genin and the young ninja reached into the box and selected a number. 2, 6, 3, 7, 4, 1, 5, 8. Excellent, we have our matches, Hiruzen said. The first match will be Niji Hyuga versus Sakura Haruno, followed by Sasuke Uchiha against Temari Sabaku. Then Shikamaru Nara will face Karen, and finally Naruto Uzumaki versus Gaara Sabaku. You will have 1 month's time to prepare. Your senseis will escort you from the tower and forest. Good luck. Come on, you three, let's get out of here, Kakashi said. We need to discuss how you three will be trained in this month layoff. Can we go to Ikaraku's? Naruto asked. I haven't had ramen in like forever. Ramen addict, Sasuke snorted. But that sounds good to me. Sakura nodded. All right then, Ikaraku's it is, Kakashi said. All right, Naruto shouted. There you are, Naruto-kun, Ayam said as Team 7 and Kakashi entered the small ramen stand. Where have you been? Dad and I haven't seen you in forever. Sorry, Ayam-ne-chan, but we were taking the Chunin exams and we were in the scary forest for 5 days. But we all passed. That's great, Naruto-kun, Tuchi said. This first bowl is on the house for all 4 of you, for passing of course. Thank you very much, Team 7 chirped. So Kakashi-sensei, what's the plan for our training? Naruto asked after pushing aside his 10th bowl of ramen. Well, since all 3 of you have passed the second exam and might have to face each other in the finals, I won't be able to train you all individually, Kakashi said. Now that doesn't mean I will just abandon you all. This first week, we will work together as a group, working on your physical abilities, and I will try and find each of you a teacher for those final 3 weeks. Okay, sensei, Sasuke said. So when do we start? Meet me at Training Ground 3 tomorrow morning at dawn, Kakashi ordered. You 3 will need a lot of work if you want to be ready. Ready for what? Naruto asked, but Kakashi had already vanished in a swirl of leaves, leaving all 3 genin wondering what their sensei meant. It had been a week since the end of the second exam, and Team 7 had been training as if their lives depended on it, which it kind of did under Kakashi. The first morning Sakura and Naruto had asked about gravity seals, and Kakashi agreed to help Sakura and Naruto learn to place gravity seals on themselves and Sasuke to increase their speed and strength. Kakashi had warned the 3 young ninja that the seals were very dangerous if used improperly, as they could stunt the teens' growth if they tried to advance too quickly, and to always come to him if they wanted to increase the weight. All right, you 3, come over here for a moment, Kakashi said. I need to speak with all 3 of you. Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke jogged over from the lake where they had been running laps around for the past hour, getting used to their new weight. Yes, sensei? Sakura asked. Well, I've managed to find senseis for you 3 for the next 3 weeks, Kakashi said. Sakura, Team 8's sensei Kurenai Yuhi, has agreed to teach you some more genjutsu. She will be able to take you further than I would be able to, but I still expect you to continue with your physical training. Of course, sensei, Sakura said. I also have a pair of jutsu scrolls for you, Kakashi said, fishing 2 scrolls out of his pouch. They should be right in your wheelhouse. Now get going. Kurenai is waiting for you at Training Ground 8, and she is not as laid back as I am. Thanks, sensei. I won't let you down, Sakura said before racing off. Naruto, the Hokage, said that your teacher has just returned to the village and you should go to his office to meet your sensei. Also, here are 2 jutsu scrolls for you to learn. One is a wind jutsu, and the other is a water jutsu. I expect you to show them off at the finals. Thanks, sensei, Naruto said, pocketing the 2 scrolls. Sasuke, you better beat that Suna girl cause I want to kick your ass in the finals. Don't worry, Dobe. I'll be there, Sasuke smirked. You have to get by that Gaara guy first if you want to fight me. Naruto nodded. I know, he said. It will be tough, but I'll beat him. Believe it. Kakashi grinned beneath his mask as his two male students bumped fists before the blonde ball energy leapt off toward the center of the village. He then turned back to Sasuke and his expression turned sadistic. You ready, Sasuke? Sasuke nodded even as a chill ran down his spine at Kakashi's expression. Hey Gigi, Kakashi-sensei said you wanted to talk to me? Naruto said as he entered the Hokage's office. Oh sorry, I didn't know you were in a meeting. I can wait outside, he added seeing that Hiruzen was not the only person in the office. No need Naruto-kun, Hiruzen said. We were just finishing up, and you couldn't have come at a better time. This is Jiraiya, one of my former students. Naruto turned his attention to the tall ninja at Hiruzen's side. The man towered over Hiruzen, with spiky white hair held back in a ponytail that nearly touched the floor, and a large scroll strapped to his back. The man had a jovial-looking face even with the two red lines of makeup running down his cheeks, though at that moment Jiraiya's face was locked in an expression of surprise. Hey kid, Jiraiya said. So you're the one that sensei dragged me away from my research to whip into shape. You sure as hell don't look like much. Naruto's face grew firm. Look, old man, if you don't want to train me, then fine. But you'll miss out on training the next Hokage. Naruto-kun, Jiraiya is the one who taught the Yondaime Hokage, Hiruzen said with a smile while Jiraiya was roaring with laughter at his side. Oh, Naruto said. Well then you can train the ninja who will surpass all the previous Hokage. You've got spunk there, kid, Jiraiya said. What makes you think you will surpass the past Hokage? Because it's my dream, Naruto declared. I promised myself that I would become the pillar of strength that supports the village and bears the burden of being Hokage. Jiraiya blinked at Naruto's declaration. He saw another short blonde standing in front of him, making a very similar vow. Okay brat, you've intrigued me, the Toad Sage said. Meet me at the hot springs tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. and if you pass my test, then we'll see about your training. You got it, old man. I'm going to blow this test of yours out of the water, Naruto shouted. See you later, Gigi. Goodbye, Naruto-kun, Hiruzen said as the hyper-blonde ran out of the office. So that's him then? Jiraiya said, leaning against the windowsill. He's grown in an interesting way. He certainly has, Hiruzen agreed. However, Naruto-kun has had to grow up much faster than I would have liked. You said he is a student of Kakashi's? Hiruzen nodded. Well then, I better find out what my student's student has taught my godson. Jiraiya, Naruto-kun only knows about the Kyuubi, Hiruzen said, taking a slow drag of his lit pipe. He does not know about his parents or your relationship to them. Minato put his trust in you and I to tell Naruto-kun when we believed him ready. That time is rapidly approaching. I have hidden much from Naruto-kun, for his own good, but it has weighed on our relationship. Do not make the same mistakes I have made. Thanks for the advice, sensei, Jiraiya said as he climbed through the open window and leapt off, leaving Hiruzen to lean back in his chair and take another drag from the pipe. Minato, I hope that when we meet again I shall be able to look you in the eye, you and Kushina-chan both, for how I've let the village treat your son, Hiruzen sighed. Naruto opened the front door to his apartment and kicked off his sandals. There was a thin film of dust covering much of the floor, as the apartment had been empty for over a week. He hadn't been here since before the second exam. Closing the door, Naruto heaved a sigh and breathed sharply out through his nose. The apartment was cold and barren, as it had always been. Flipping on the hallway light, Naruto walked deeper into the apartment and entered his bedroom. Good. It's still here, Naruto thought. He reached out and pulled off the camouflage cloak that had hidden the Nidaime scroll. It always surprised Naruto how much people overlooked the obvious, that the simplest deception could be the most effective. Sitting on the edge of his bed, Naruto opened the scroll and found the instructions for the water release. Water bullet jutsu that he had been trying to learn before the Chunin exams. Next to the scroll was the hilt of the Nidaime sword. The Hokage had given it to Naruto in order to protect it as no one would think the sword of the Thunder God would be in the hands of a genin. The blonde was tempted to start carrying the sword around, as it was an awesome weapon, but he decided against it due to the sword's obvious known appearance and the simple fact that Naruto wasn't a swordsman. Let's see what Kakashi-sensei got me, Naruto muttered, pulling the 2 small scrolls that Kakashi had given him out of his pouch. The first scroll was a water jutsu, one that was familiar to Naruto from his ancestor scroll, the water bullet jutsu. The second jutsu was a wind jutsu, the wind scar jutsu. Ah man, neither of these jutsus will work against Gaara, Naruto complained. Quit your complaining meat bag, a deep voice snarled. That you, Fox? Naruto asked. Of course it's me, who else can speak to you in your empty head? The massive fox growled. Fine then, what do you want? Naruto asked. Gaara is just like you, the Kyuubi said. You mean he has a Biju in him too? That's what I just told you, you moron, the fox roared, causing Naruto to wince at the volume. Okay, Naruto answered, clutching his head. Do you know which Biju he has in him? The Ichibi, the fox answered. The sand spirit. So then, what do you recommend? How can I beat Gaara? Naruto asked. You want my advice? The Kyuubi asked, its voice sounding surprised for the first time that Naruto had ever heard it. The blonde had only heard his prisoner's voice sound dark, deep, and demanding. Well, you are probably the foremost expert on Biju I know, so why wouldn't I ask you? Naruto explained. The massive fox blinked, feeling something that it hadn't felt in an era. The Ichibi has complete control over sand, the Kyuubi said. The rodent's hosts usually are granted similar abilities. That Gaara can control his sand without thinking or wasting chakra. But that rodent, Shikaku, believes that he is more powerful than he actually is. To have a chance of beating Shikaku, you will have to fight smart. Thanks, Kyuubi, Naruto said. Hey, why did you call the Ichibi Shikaku? Because that is that stubby-tailed rodent's name, the Kyuubi answered. Wait, you have names, Naruto shouted. What's your name then? Something that you will never learn, the Kyuubi roared. Now I told you what you wanted to know. Now leave me alone. All right then, Fox, but someday I will find out your name, Naruto vowed. And thanks for the advice. Naruto dimly heard the fox grunt as he felt the fox's presence leave his mind. Okay, the fox said I need to fight smart if I want to beat Gaara, Naruto said to himself. If Shikaku gives Gaara control over sand, then I have to take away that sand. But how? Hey there, Hinata, Sakura called out as she reached Training Ground 8. The Hyuga heiress turned away from her teammates and sensei to see the Pinkette member of Team 7 quickly approaching. Esses, Sakura-san, what are you doing here? Hinata asked. Well, Kakashi-sensei said that your sensei was going to teach me more genjutsu for the finals, Sakura said. You reached the finals, Hiba shouted. Ah man, how did someone like you manage to get all the way to the finals? What is that supposed to mean, mutt? Sakura growled, glaring at the feral boy. Akamaru whimpered slightly at Kiba's side. I mean, it's just that, Kiba stammered, noticing his puppy's reaction to Sakura. Kiba, it would be smart if you would stop talking, the third member of Team 8, Shino Aburame, said. Ah, Sakura Haruno, I see you haven't followed in your sensei's footsteps in being late all the time, the amused voice of Kurenai Yuhi said, as she walked up behind Shino. Yes, Kurenai-san, Sakura grinned. The dark-haired woman had an air about her that put Sakura at ease. Thank you for agreeing to help with my training. Of course, Sakura-chan, but before we begin you need to answer my question, Kurenai said. And be warned, if you don't answer the question to my satisfaction, you'll need to find someone else to train you. Do you understand? Yes, Kurenai-san, Sakura answered. What's the question? Why do you want me to train you? Why do you want to become strong? Kurenai asked. Hinata, Shino, and Kiba all fell quiet at their sensei's question, wanting to know the female member of Team 7 answer to the question. Sakura blinked. She hadn't expected that type of question, though she probably should have. It was very similar to when Kakashi-sensei had asked her, Sasuke-kun and Naruto their dreams when they first became Team 7. Thinking back to that day, Sakura was disgusted with her past self at how she had answered Kakashi's question. I want to become stronger because I want to probe that a ninja not from a clan can become a powerful ninja, Sakura said. I want to have my teammates and comrades look at my back instead of it being me that is always watching from the background. And most importantly, I want the strength to be able to protect my teammates, comrades, and my home, not have them stuck protecting me. Kurenai was impressed at the girl's answer. Seems that Kakashi has gotten through to Sakura, Kurenai thought. Very well, Sakura-san, your answer has impressed me, she told Sakura with a smile. You'll come here at 8 a.m. each morning and train with my team. But sensei, what about us? Kiba asked. You three have training with your clans in the afternoons, so I will work with Sakura one-on-one after your three go home, Kurenai said. In the mornings though, Sakura will work with us. Do you have a problem with that, Kiba? A slight chill washed over the four genin, even though there was barely a cloud in the sky. No, sensei, Kiba answered quickly. Good, Kurenai said with a smile that stole the day's warmth. Now then, Sakura-san, why don't you show us what you can do? A simple spar against Hinata-chan will do nicely. I think. Me? Hinata squeaked. But sensei, I don't know if that. I don't have a problem with that, Sakura said. It would be fun to spar against Hinata, and since I'm facing Niji in the first match, fighting against Hinata would be a great help. Niji and I-san, Hinata stammered. That's right, Sakura said, and from what I saw in the preliminaries showed me that Niji is really strong. Yes, Hinata whispered. Niji and I-san is very strong. He is probably the strongest genin in the village. That is what Rock Lee, Niji's teammate, said. Sakura agreed. Honestly, I don't know if I have much of a chance against him, but since you know the same moves that Niji does, it would help me out a lot, so please Hinata, I can really use your help. I don't think I will be able to help you much, Sakura-san. Niji and I-san is much better at our clan's taijutsu style than me. He is hailed as a genius, Hinata said, looking down at her feet. Please Hinata, you are my best shot, Sakura pleaded. When the Pinkette saw that Hinata was still struggling to answer, Sakura decided to up the ante. How about this, Hinata? You help me with this and I can help you with your problem. My problem? Hinata asked, so surprised at the question that she didn't stutter. Naruto, Sakura said with a sly smile. Naruto-kun, Hinata whispered, her face glowing red. You help me with Niji, and I will help you get Naruto to notice you, Sakura said. The Pinkette knew she had Hinata the moment Sakura had uttered Naruto's name. Hinata's crush on the blonde knucklehead was legendary, just as legendary as how oblivious Naruto was to the dark-haired girl. Okay, Hinata said. I will help you, Sakura-san. Where the hell is he? Naruto growled when the blonde genin reached the hot springs the next morning. He said to meet him here at 9 a.m. He better not turn out to be another Kakashi. A giggle made Naruto turn around to a sight that if he weren't a ninja would have been very peculiar. Naruto's new sensei, Jiraiya of the Sannin, was sitting on an enormous orange and blue-spotted toad, up against the fence that blocked the female side of the baths from sight. What the hell are you doing? Naruto shouted. In a comical fashion, Jiraiya leapt in surprise off the toad before crashing to the ground with a thud. Would you keep your voice down, brat? Jiraiya hissed. You are ruining prime research material here. Research? Naruto asked. You are just peeping on bathing women. Brat! Jiraiya barked as the duo heard splashing on the other side of the fence. You just ruined my precious research. I can't believe you are supposed to teach me, Naruto complained. You are as big a pervert as Kakashi-sensei. Don't compare me to Kakashi, Jiraiya said. I am a much bigger pervert than that novice. I am a super pervert, he laughed. And he's proud about that? Naruto thought. While I like women and naughty pictures as much as the next guy, to act like that is taking it way over the top. Look, old man pervert, are you going to train me or what? Naruto asked. 'Cause if all you are going to do is peep on women, then I am out of here. I can train myself for the finals, he said, turning away from the Sannin. Jiraiya turned serious in the blink of an eye. Kid, there is no way you could beat Gaara like you are now, even if you trained nonstop for an entire year. You need a trump card. Trump card? Naruto asked. What do you mean? Not here, Jiraiya said. Before Naruto could even squawk and protect, the two ninja had vanished in a swirl of leaves. What the hell? Naruto shouted when he got over the high-speed disorientation. And where are we? Naruto, this is not something that can be discussed in the open, Jiraiya said. As to where we are at a special training ground just outside the village. The Yondame's personal training ground, in fact. Naruto blinked. The Yondame? he whispered, looking around at the spacious clearing with a large cliff face looming over it. Yep, this is where the Yondaime came to train under me, Jiraiya boasted. Now kid, your opponent Gaara, he is more like you than you might think. He is a Jinchuriki, I know, Naruto interrupted. How? I had this weird, almost familial feeling when I first saw him, Naruto explained, like I had known him from before, and that I could be looking into a mirror when I looked at him. What I could have been if it hadn't been for the Ichirakus, Jiji and Irika-sensei. Jiraiya nodded at the blonde's answer, though inside he was wincing. To hear that his godson could have turned out to be a murderous monster if it hadn't been for two ramen stand owners. A Chunin Academy instructor and the Hokage did not fill the Sannin with much confidence, and also quite a bit of shame. Only 4 people out of the entire village, even if one was the Hokage. Well, that should help you speed things along then, Jiraiya said. Yes, Gaara is the Jinchuriki of the Ichibi, the sand spirit. You probably saw what some of his abilities were in the preliminaries against the Lee kid. Naruto frowned as he remembered the cries of pain coming from Lee when Gaara had crushed his right arm and leg. Yeah, I saw them. You probably also saw that Lee had the right idea to beat Gaara using speed, to move faster than Gaara could react to, Jiraiya said. A month is not enough time to get you fast enough. But Lee doesn't have your trump card. Again with the trump card, what is it? Naruto asked. The Kyuubi's chakra, Jiraiya answered. What? No way, you have got to be kidding me, Naruto shouted. I can't control that chakra the 2 times I've used it, and I nearly lost control both times. And that's what we are here to do, Jiraiya said. To learn to control that power. Look kid, you were the one the Yondaime entrusted the Kyuubi to. He knew that you would be the one who could wield its power. How do you know that? I taught the Yondaime remember, Jiraiya said. And he made the right choice, he believed in you, that's why he chose you. Naruto felt a warmth wash over him at Jiraiya's words. The Yondaime believed in me, he thought. Okay then, say I do go along with this crazy idea, Naruto said. How do I control the fox's chakra? Well, first you have to gain the ability to draw on its chakra at will, Jiraiya said. And to do that, you first have to exhaust your own chakra. And how do you suggest I do that? In case you don't know, I'm pretty much a chakra battery, Naruto quipped. By practicing this, Jiraiya said. With a flourish, Jiraiya whipped the large scroll off his back and unfurled it. This is the Toad summoning contract, and you are going to sign it. Me? But why? Naruto asked. I mean, I'm just a genin. Shouldn't this go to a ninja of higher? Kid, you are my apprentice now, Jiraiya interrupted the rambling blonde. So just go with it. Now, cut your finger, sign your name in blood, and then you are ready to go. Naruto blinked rapidly, trying to clear his eyes of tears, and nodded. He pulled out a kunai and made a small cut on his palm and quickly signed his name next to the name of Minato Namikaze. Great, Jiraiya said. Here are the signs. Boar, dog, bird, monkey and ram. Then you have to build up your chakra. The more chakra you put into the jutsu, the larger the summon. Have at it. Right? Naruto grinned. He bit his thumb and sped through the 5 signs, then slammed his palm to the ground. Summoning jutsu. A large puff of white smoke obscured Jiraiya and Naruto for a moment. Yo! A new voice called from within the smoke. When the smoke finally cleared, the new voice belonged to a small orange toad. All right, Naruto cried, pumping his fist. Not bad kid, you managed to summon a son of the toad boss, Jiraiya said, quite impressed at Naruto. He had expected the blonde to barely summon a tadpole, but on the boy's first attempt, he summoned a full toad. Hi, I'm Gamakichi, who are you? The toad asked. Naruto Uzumaki, Naruto answered. Nice to meet you, Gamakichi. Gamakichi, why don't you head back home? Jiraiya said. Naruto has just signed the contract, and will be practicing for the time being, so you might be coming back soon. Cool. A new summoner, Gamakichi said. I'll let Dad know. Later, the toad vanished in a puff of smoke. Okay, Naruto, keep practicing, Jiraiya said. Remember to build up your chakra before performing the jutsu. I know, Naruto said. Jiraiya huffed and walked to the shade of a nearby tree and settled down to watch his student. Jiraiya was snoring loudly when he was woken abruptly by a cry of frustration and exhaustion. The Toad Sage opened his eyes and saw that Naruto had dropped to his ass and was panting heavily. "Done so soon?" Jiraiya asked, standing up and stretching. "No," Naruto growled. "I'm just taking a breather. I've been doing this for like 4 hours now." "And how do you feel?" Jiraiya asked, walking over to the sweating blonde. "Completely drained. Why do you think I am taking a break?" "Good then, hold on," Jiraiya said. Before Naruto could say anything, Jiraiya had grabbed the blonde by the shoulder, and they vanished from the training ground in a swirl of leaves. "Where are we now?" Naruto demanded when the world stopped spinning. "This is where you'll have your final test," Jiraiya said. "Try not to die." "What?" Naruto cried as Jiraiya gave him a chakra-enhanced push to the chest. The last thing Naruto saw was Jiraiya's stern face before he only saw stone and sky. "What the hell?" Naruto shouted as he tried frantically to grab the sides of the ravine that he was plummeting down, but the sides were too smooth for Naruto's hands to get a solid grip on, even by using his chakra. Why did he do this? Naruto screamed as he racked his brain, trying to come up with a plan. What's the point of teaching me the summoning jutsu if he was just going to shove me off a cliff and kill me? The old pervert wants you to use my chakra. Then fine. A deep voice growled in Naruto's mind. Naruto gasped as he felt the Kyuubi's boiling hot chakra flood his system. In desperation, Naruto's hands quickly blurred through the signs for the jutsu that he had just learned. "Summoning jutsu," Naruto shouted. There was an enormous plume of smoke beneath Naruto. "What is going on here?" a booming voice asked. Naruto looked down to see that he was now on the head of a massive reddish-brown toad. "Where am I?" "Whoa!" Naruto exclaimed, falling to a knee on top of the massive toad at the sudden stop as the toad had stopped their plunge with its arms and legs. "What the? Who the hell are you, brat? And what are you doing on my head?" the toad roared. "I summoned you," Naruto answered, his face spilt in a wide grin. "That bastard pervert pushed me over the side of this ravine. I couldn't get a grip on the walls, so I summoned you to stop my fall." "Ha ha ha ha!" the toad laughed uproariously. "You summon me? Not happening, you little snot. Now where is Jiraiya?" "Hey, don't call me a liar," Naruto shouted. "I did so summon you, and I will prove it." Naruto quickly made the 5 hand signs for the summoning jutsu, and in a puff of smoke, a second toad appeared. "Hey Naruto, what are you doing?" Gamakichi asked. "Gamakichi, what are you doing here?" the massive toad demanded. "Oh, hi there, Pops," Gamakichi said nervously. "Well, Naruto here is our new summoner. Didn't I tell you that?" "No," the toad boss said gruffly. "My bad," Gamakichi said. "Dad, this is Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto, this is my Pops, the chief of the toads, Gamabunta." "Your Pops," Naruto exclaimed. "I told you that my Pops was the boss," Gamakichi snapped, leaping up and slapping Naruto on the back of the blonde's head. "So you really are our new summoner then? My kid wouldn't lie, so it must be true," Gamabunta said. "Of course I am," Naruto said. "How else do you think you got down here?" "Look, brat, just because you are a toad summoner doesn't mean I have to listen to you," Gamabunta said. "We haven't even sealed the deal over a cup of sake." "But I'm only 12 years old. I can't drink," Naruto argued. "You're a ninja, aren't you?" Gamabunta asked. At Naruto's confused nod, the toad boss continued. "Well, kid, underage drinking is the least of your worries. Now where is Jiraiya?" "Probably still at the top of this ravine," Naruto said. "He's the one who threw me down here." "Well then, let's just go have a chat with Jiraiya," Gamabunta said. "Hold on, you two." "What?" Naruto asked before Gamabunta leapt. "Gah!" Naruto was forced flat on his chest and face by the air pressure generated by the toad's leap. "Come out here, Jiraiya," Gamabunta demanded when the toad boss landed on the plateau overlooking the ravine. "I know you are here. Now tell me why you threw this brat down there." "Ah well, you see, Gamabunta," Jiraiya stammered as he stepped from the shadows of the trees. "My plan worked, you see, Naruto. Now you've mastered the summoning jutsu and learned to call upon your second reserve of chakra." "Plan?" Naruto asked, glaring down at the white-haired Sannin. "You call that a plan? You nearly killed me by throwing me off the side of a cliff. How the hell is that a plan? Look, kid. Just because you don't think it's a plan doesn't mean there isn't one, Jiraiya said. Once you are older then you'll understand. Yeah, whatever, I'm going home, Naruto said. The blonde leapt down from Gamabunta's head and only took 2 steps before collapsing to the ground, utterly spent. Hey, kid has got spunk, Gamabunta said. So that's his boy, right Jiraiya? Yeah, and my godson to boot, Jiraiya said. You can head back, Bunta. I'll take the kid home. The massive toad nodded. Come on, Gamakichi, let's go home, Bunta said. Right, Pops, Gamakichi saluted. And Jiraiya, I want to properly meet the boy, Gamabunta said before he and Gamakichi vanished in puffs of smoke. Pushy, bossy toad, Jiraiya grumbled as he hoisted the unconscious blonde onto his shoulder and vanished from the plateau, not seeing the pair of dark eyes that had been watching them. Ah, good, you are finally awake, a familiar voice chuckled as Naruto slowly opened his eyes. He recognized the ceiling above him as his own bedroom. What happened? Naruto asked. You passed out, Jiraiya answered. I had to drag your sorry ass back here and then wait until you woke up. Serves you right, Naruto growled. You tried to kill me by throwing me over the side of a ravine. Jiraiya chuckled. Well, yeah, look, it worked anyway, didn't it? He reasoned. Kid, it was the only way you could learn to call upon the fox's chakra at will. But what if I don't want to use the fox's chakra? Naruto argued. That chakra is dangerous and unstable. I want to grow strong using my own strength, not someone else's. Jiraiya blinked at the blonde's answer. He hadn't expected that answer from a kid, let alone Naruto, who he had been told was a simpleton and a troublemaker. But Jiraiya knew that while Naruto's answer was mature-sounding and admirable, it was also dumb and childish. Look, kid, don't be stupid, Jiraiya scolded. You might think you are being noble and strong for thinking that, but you are just limiting yourself. The Yondaime Hokage believed that one day you would be able to control the fox's power. But how am I supposed to change the villagers' minds that I am not the fox when you want me to use its chakra? Naruto demanded. You are not a child anymore, Naruto, Jiraiya said sharply. You shouldn't worry or care what other people think of you. Look, because of you being a Jinchuriki, you will never have a normal life. There will always be people who hate or fear you because of what you hold, and you will never change their minds, so just forget about them. Naruto's face fell at Jiraiya's words. Then the blonde set his face. I don't care, he said. I am going to prove that I can be strong without the fox's chakra. I'll beat Gaara without it. You are an idiot, you know that, right? Jiraiya asked. Gaara will kill you if you don't use all your gifts. The fox is not a gift. It is a curse, Naruto said. I have been hated by most of the villagers all my life. This gift, as you call it, has been nothing but pain for me. Stop complaining, brat, Jiraiya snapped, sounding angry for the first time, obviously having enough of Naruto's whining. You are a ninja of Konoha, not a mewling brat looking for pity. What do you know about me? Naruto shouted back. You only met me 2 days ago, and now you are telling me that the only way I will get strong is if I use the very thing that has made my life hell. No way, I am not using the fox's chakra. Stubborn brat, just like your... Jiraiya grumbled before stopping abruptly. Fine, brat, get yourself killed because you don't want my help. You'll come crawling back to me in time. Whatever, Naruto growled. Thank you for bringing me back here, but you can leave now. Jiraiya gave the blonde a searching look before leaving Naruto's room and apartment altogether. Naruto fell back onto his bed, not knowing exactly how he felt. He was proud that he had stood up to Jiraiya. His heroes, the Hokage, hadn't gotten strong by relying on something other than their own strength, so why couldn't he? But at the same time, Naruto couldn't shake the feeling that he was making a mistake. A sharp knock at the front door caught Naruto's attention. What now, you old pervert? Naruto growled as he gingerly got out of bed. The knocking came again. I'm coming, Naruto called out as he approached the front door to his apartment. What do you want, Jiraiya? Naruto snapped as he threw open the door. Hello, Uzumaki-san. The entire village of Konoha was abuzz with excitement. There was fervor in the air as the finals of the Chunin selection exams had finally arrived, and the first 2 matches of the finals featured 2 of the village's 2 most prestigious clans, Niji Hyuga and Sasuke Uchiha. The stadium had been rapidly filling with villagers, ninja and guests alike, all wanting to make sure they didn't miss a minute of the fights. Wow! Naruto gasped as he looked around the massive stadium. Baka, pay attention, Sakura scolded. And act professional for once, you better not embarrass the village. There are a lot of very important people here, and we need to show off our strength. I know that, Sakura, Naruto said somewhat sharply. The pink cat was quite surprised at Naruto's snappish tone. He had never really snapped at her before, no matter how much she might have deserved it. Sakura also felt a small pang of loss when her blonde teammate didn't refer to her with his customary chan suffix. Looking over at her blonde teammate, Sakura had to admit that he certainly looked professional and like a proper Konoha shinobi. He had changed his attire once again to make himself look like an actual shinobi. Naruto now wore black ninja pants that were taped at his ankles with dark gray shin guards protecting his lower legs that matched the arm guards that protected his forearms. Underneath his sleeveless dark green hoodie was a black long-sleeved turtleneck-like shirt, and his hands were guarded by fingerless gloves that had metal plates sewn on them like Kakashi but had a spiral design etched on the metal. Naruto's trench knives were clipped at his belt with a kunai holster strapped to both thighs. To Sakura, Naruto looked a lot like some of the ANBU that she had seen around the village. Are you ready, Sakura? You are going against Neji, Naruto asked. Lee did say that Neji is the strongest genin in the village. Don't worry about me, Naruto, Sakura said, feeling slightly better at the genuine concern that she heard in Naruto's voice. I can handle myself. It's your opponent that I'm worried about. He hasn't stopped staring at you since we arrived. I know, Naruto said. He seems quite eager for our match. Wish I could say the same. You're not eager to fight? Sakura asked, surprised. That doesn't sound like you. You would normally bouncing off the walls to show off. Oh, don't get me wrong, Sakura. I'm quite excited, but I'm also worried about what I'll have to do in order to win against Gaara, Naruto said. What do you mean? Forget about me and just focus on your own match. I'll be fine. Believe it, Naruto grinned. Sakura wanted to know what Naruto was hiding, but just then two forms appeared beside them. It was Sasuke and Kakashi. Sasuke-kun. Sakura's fangirl side reared its head at the sight of her crush. Naruto blandly noticed that Sasuke had also changed his outfit. Same as in the anime. Good. You three are all here, Kakashi said with a smile. Now good luck, and be ready for anything. The finals are nothing like the previous exams, he warned. Naruto narrowed his eyes at the Jonin's cryptic warning. We'll be careful, Kakashi-sensei. Don't worry, he said. Kakashi nodded at his blonde student. He had been told by the Hokage and Jiraiya that Naruto had only spent one day being taught by the Toad Sage, and was wondering what the boy had learned. Jiraiya had said that Naruto had refused his teachings, but under the stare of the Hokage, Jiraiya faltered and quickly revealed the truth. Hiruzen and Kakashi were not happy with Jiraiya, how the sage only planned on teaching Naruto the summoning jutsu, and how to control the fox's chakra, as well as how Jiraiya told Naruto that the only way Naruto would become strong was by using the Kyuubi's chakra. But the sage stood firm on the fact that he wouldn't train the blonde unless Naruto got rid of the foolish idea that he wouldn't need to use the Kyuubi's chakra to beat Gaara. Jiraiya's pride wouldn't let him accept Naruto back any other way. Hiruzen and Kakashi were furious, but apparently Naruto had found someone else to train him, someone that the blonde refused to tell the Hokage about. And that worried both the silver-haired Jonin and the aged Hokage. Looks like your training was successful, Naruto said to Sasuke. Same to you, Sasuke answered. You better beat that guy. I want to fight you in the finals. Don't worry. I'll be there, Naruto said with a grin. Look alive, you brats, a new voice ordered. Naruto turned to see a Konoha Jonin standing in front of the Genin finalists who was wearing a bandana-type forehead protector and had a senbon hanging from his lips. My name is Gunma Shiranui, and I'll be the proctor for the finals, Gunma said. Listen up, because I am not going to repeat myself. The rules are the same as the preliminaries, and just like in the prelims, if I step in and say the fight is over, the fight is over. Got it? Yes, sir. The Konoha shinobi answered while the two kunoichi nodded. Gaara did nothing. Good. Now unless your name is Neji Hyuga or Sakura Haruno, get your asses up to the viewing platform, Gemma ordered. Good luck, Sakura-chan, Naruto said as he and Sasuke moved off toward the staircase. Sasuke just nodded. Sakura turned to face her opponent, who was staring right back at her with the large white and pupilless eyes of the Hyuga clan. The kunoichi of Team 7 fought to keep the shiver from running down her spine as she met Niji's stare. The boy was handsome in a cold and stoic way, much like how Sasuke was, but the older boy also gave off an air of superiority, like Niji knew he was going to win and was making sure that Sakura knew it was as well, again like her Uchiha teammate. Sakura Haruno, Niji Hyuga, are you both ready to begin? Gunma asked. Sakura and Niji nodded. Excellent. Then let the first match of these Chunin selection exam finals begin. Sakura snatched a pair of shuriken from her pouch and hurled them at Niji. The Hyuga easily leaned out of the shuriken's paths. My teammate is a weapons specialist, and she doesn't miss, Niji said. You are nothing compared to her. Yet I am here in the finals, and your teammate is not, Sakura retorted. She was fated to lose to that Suna ninja, just like you are fated to lose to me, Niji said. Well then, if I am fated to lose, then I don't have to hold anything back, Sakura said. And surprising the entire crowd, Sakura rushed forward. What is she thinking? Shikamaru commented from the viewing box where he and the other finalists were watching. She has to know that close combat against a Hyuga is suicide. Sakura-chan knows that, Naruto said. But surprise is a powerful ally in battle. Niji knows that he is stronger than Sakura-chan in taijutsu, and it looks like Sakura-chan is trying to surprise Niji into making a mistake. Niji doesn't make many mistakes, Sasuke said. Sakura will have to pull something special out of her bag of tricks to have a chance. Have faith, Sasuke. Sakura-chan will surprise you, Naruto said with a grin. Are you so truly reckless as to try and defeat a Hyuga in taijutsu? Niji asked with a sneer. Hey, weren't you the one who said that I was fated to lose? Sakura mocked as she launched herself into a spinning kick, aimed at Niji's head, but the Hyuga casually blocked the blow. Sakura used Niji's block as a pivot point and flipped over him. If you wish to meet defeat so quickly, then on your head be it, Niji said, charging toward Sakura. The kunoichi grinned as her opponent raced toward her. She reached into her pouch and threw 2 shuriken at Niji, making the boy dodge right. Sakura raced forward, aiming to meet Niji. The Hyuga's eyes narrowed and he raised a hand to strike down this commoner down, as fate decreed. Arg! Niji cried as he was suddenly blinded when a flash bomb went off behind Sakura. The Pinkette took advantage of Niji's stumble and landed a heavy blow to the boy's stomach that bent Niji over her fist. Niji felt his jaw slam shut as Sakura's knee came up and snapped his head back, sending the Hyuga flying head over heels, and Niji crashed to the ground with a thud. A crushing silence descended over the stadium. A ninja born outside of a clan was beating a genin from the village's largest and most powerful clan. Niji slowly got to his feet and wiped the thin trickle of blood from his chin. His eyes flared in anger as he took in Sakura standing 20 feet away from him with a smug grin on her lips. Did your fate see that? Sakura mocked. You will pay for that, Niji snarled as his Byakugan flared to life. Sakura swallowed thickly. Now the fight really begins, she thought. Let's see how much my training with Hinata will help against Niji. Niji surged forward at an impressive speed, much faster than Hinata had ever shown. But Sakura had trained under Kakashi Hatake, the famed copy ninja, and had dealt with fast combat. Sakura slid to the left, avoiding Niji's strike by mere inches, and retaliated with a quick strike of her own. One that Niji easily batted aside, and his arm blurred forward, fingers glowing blue, aiming to disable one of her major chakra points in her shoulder. Sakura had learned much about her own body during her training with Hinata. She learned that most Hyuga aimed to disable their opponent's chakra points and render them unable to use chakra. After learning about that, Sakura pored over any medical or anatomy text that she could find, trying to find a way to counter the Hyuga's style of fighting. But with only 3 weeks to prepare, Sakura was unsuccessful. So she turned her brilliant mind to another way of beating Niji. And it was Hinata that came up with a way to possibly beat Niji. Hinata said that there were over 60 chakra points throughout the human body, but there were ways to fight while your chakra points were disabled. The most important chakra points were located around a person's heart, lungs, neck, and liver. As long as you could stand quite a bit of pain and did not get struck in one of those vital points, you could possibly survive a taijutsu match against a Hyuga. Sakura leaned backward to avoid a palm strike to the chest and swept her leg, aiming to knock Niji off his feet. But the Hyuga boy saw it coming and easily leapt over the sweep. Sakura rolled backward from the airborne Niji to gain space, but the Hyuga was slightly quickly in recovering. Sakura raised her arms to defend her chest and neck but hissed in pain as the chakra points in her arms were sealed off. "Submit," Niji ordered, standing in front of Sakura like a pillar. "I have closed off the chakra points in your arms, and such you cannot use any jutsu." Sakura slowly got to her feet, her arms hanging limply at her sides. "So I can't use my arms, big deal," Sakura shot back. "I will not give up. I will prove that you don't need to be from a clan to become a strong ninja, and that means I will not forfeit or give up." With a cry, Sakura charged toward Niji, her arms slowly gaining control again. She clumsily pulled some shuriken from her pouch, several falling to the ground, and tossed them at Niji. "This again," Niji sneered. "Shuriken multiplication jutsu," Sakura shouted, biting back a cry of pain as she forced as much chakra through her arms. It felt like fire was flowing down her arms, as her chakra was not able to flow as freely as usual. The 2 shuriken that Sakura had thrown multiplied into 10 as they flew toward Niji. The Hyuga was surprised that Sakura was able to perform a jutsu, and that surprise nearly cost Niji. Nearly. "Rotation," Niji shouted, spinning in place. A visible blue dome of chakra erupted around the boy, surrounding and obscuring him from view. Sakura watched helplessly as her shuriken bounced harmlessly off the dome of chakra. "What is that?" Sakura asked, panting. "The ultimate defensive jutsu of the Hyuga clan, and one only taught to those of the main family of the clan," Niji sneered when he stopped spinning. "But yet I, a lowly member of the branch family, has managed to learn and master it by myself, no coddling or being handed things. Now, let me show you and the world the true power of Niji Hyuga." Niji got into a peculiar stance and shot forward. Sakura didn't even have a chance to cry out in pain before the world went dark. "Winner Niji Hyuga," Genma announced. As Niji walked off the field, there was only a smattering of applause. Most of the audience were still in shock and awe at the fight. The shinobi in the audience were impressed at both fighters, Niji for knowing the rotation and Sakura for pushing the Hyuga prodigy so far. The civilians were somewhat disappointed that Sakura lost but also proud that she put up a good fight in their name. "Like I said, she was fated to lose," Niji said as he entered the viewing box, looking over at Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto turned to Niji, a fierce scowl on the blonde's face. "So Sakura-chan lost. She put up one hell of a fight if she made you use a trump card like that rotation jutsu," he growled. "She surprised me is all," Niji said. "But if your almighty fate said you were going to win, then how could you get surprised?" Shikamaru quipped from the railing. Sasuke and Naruto grinned at the Nara air. Niji just huffed at Shikamaru and turned away. The 2 male members of Team 7 nodded their thanks to Shikamaru. "I'll go see how Sakura-chan is doing," Naruto said. "You just focus on your fight." Sasuke nodded and looked down at the stadium floor where Temari was already waiting. Sasuke heard the mutterings and excited chatter grow in volume and decided to take his time down to the stadium floor, knowing that the Konoha-dominate crowd would continue to stoke itself into a veritable frenzy at the seeing the last Uchihas match. "Where's the infirmary?" Naruto asked a random ninja as the blonde walked down the hallway. "Down the hall and take a right," the man said. "It will be the first door on the left after that right turn." "Thanks," Naruto said. "No running," a stern voice snapped as Naruto came barreling around the corner and into the infirmary. "Sorry," Naruto said. "Where's Sakura Haruno?" The medical ninja gave Naruto a searching look before pointing to a bed the far end of the room. "She is down there resting," the woman said. "How is she?" Naruto asked, surprising the woman by not running off to Sakura's bedside. "Sakura-chan will make a full recovery," the nurse said. "She is only suffering from some minor bruises and low chakra levels. It will take some time before Sakura-chan can return to her duties, though since the only way to open her chakra points is for them to open naturally unless a Hyuga were to open them." "Isn't there a nurse who is a Hyuga?" Naruto asked. "No," the nurse said softly. "And it's unfortunate. Their Byakugan would make an invaluable asset in finding injuries and diagnosing them. But clans are so leery of people stealing their secrets that they refuse to even think about helping. Just like how the Uchiha clan would never write any of the jutsus they would copy to put in jutsu library before." The nurse paused as she realized who Naruto's teammate was. A low groan came from the end of the room. "Sakura-chan," Naruto cried as he rushed over to his teammate's bed. "Naruto," Sakura asked lowly as her eyes fluttered open. What happened? You're in the infirmary, Naruto explained. Niji beat you by closing most of your chakra points, but you were awesome anyway. A lot of people were impressed at how well you did against Niji. But I still lost, Sakura muttered, gingerly pushing herself up into a sitting position on the bed. Where's Sasuke-kun? He's fighting that Suna girl. His match was right after yours, remember? Naruto said. Do you want to go watch the fight? Sakura nodded. Let me help you up then, he said. Naruto helped Sakura swing her legs off the bed and put one of her arms over his shoulders to support Sakura as the teammates headed back to the viewing room. As they clumsily walked out of the infirmary, the nurse watched them go with a thoughtful look on her face. So that's Naruto Uzumaki? She thought. He's nothing like the others say he is. I wonder. You're up already? Shikamaru asked as Naruto and Sakura returned to the viewing room. Of course, it will take more than closing some chakra points to keep me down, Sakura said. How's Sasuke-kun doing? Fine, Shikamaru muttered. He and that Suna Kunoichi have just been feeling each other out. They haven't done much except trade insults. Down on the stadium floor, Sasuke was watching his opponent like a hawk. He knew that she used wind jutsus, mainly coming from her fan that was strapped to her back. The Uchiha heir knew that he had the elemental advantage over his opponent with his fire jutsus. Let's get this match going, Sasuke said as his hands flew through a jutsu that had become second nature to him. Fire release, great fireball jutsu. The ball of orange flames sped across the ground, leaving hard-caked dirt in its wake from the heat. Temari scowled as she quickly dodged the attack and pulled her fan off her back in one smooth motion. Dodge this, wind release, raging gale jutsu, Temari shouted, swinging her fully opened fan. The widespread wind jutsu raced toward Sasuke with impressive speed. Sasuke backtracked until he was up against the wall of the arena and leapt skyward. The jutsu slammed into the wall below him, kicking dirt and debris into the air in a large cloud. Fire release, dragon flame jutsu, Sasuke cried, sending a large stream of fire in the shape of a dragon speeding down at Temari. Temari cursed as she was once more forced on the defensive by Sasuke's fire jutsu. She barely avoided being cooked alive by the dragon flame jutsu and sent another raging gale at the area where Sasuke was going to land. Gotcha! She crowed as Sasuke descended right into the path of her jutsu. What? Temari cried as her jutsu shredded. Not Sasuke, but a log. Substitution. She whirled around to see Sasuke rushing toward her with a kunai outstretched and about to pierce her. Temari closed her fan and brought it in front of her just in time to avoid being skewered by Sasuke. Nice reflexes, Sasuke commented, his kunai grating alongside the edge of the war fan. But not quick enough. A second kunai appeared in Sasuke's other hand. Temari's eyes widened as she rotated her fan and managed to block Sasuke's second kunai, but she wasn't quick enough to avoid all damage as Sasuke's blade scored a thin red line along Temari's right arm. Temari leapt backward to try and gain room to use her fan, but Sasuke wouldn't let her get away. He slashed at Temari with his two kunai, scoring nicks on the metal casing of Temari's fan as the Suna girl desperately tried to get back on the offensive. Sasuke-kun is really taking it to that Temari girl, Sakura commented as she leaned on the railing. She could feel her strength slowly returning as the constant burn in her arms that was slowly lessening in intensity. Well, he has the edge in speed and jutsu type, Shikamaru said. But look closely at her, she isn't panicking. She has something up her sleeve, even if she has been on the back foot all match. Naruto and Sakura looked down at their teammate with curious and slightly worried looks. I'm sure that Sasuke will be fine, Naruto said with a reassuring tone. He's too much of a bastard to lose to some random Suna ninja. He promised that we would face each other in the finals. Sakura nodded to Naruto in thanks for reminding her about Sasuke's promise, and she knew that Sasuke, like Naruto, did all they could never break a promise. Down on the stadium floor, Sasuke was watching his opponent closely. He had activated his Sharingan when Temari had managed to avoid his attack just seconds before. He knew that he had missed a golden opportunity to finish this fight, an opportunity that his opponent would not give again, and was cursing himself for it. Fire release, Phoenix Flame Jutsu, Sasuke said, sending several small fireballs soaring at Temari. The Suna Kunoichi knew she couldn't use her fan or any wind jutsus to deflect Sasuke's jutsu, and had to settle for leaping around nimbly to avoid the fireballs. Shuriken multiplication jutsu, Sasuke shouted, tossing a handful of shuriken toward Temari. The handful grew into a cloud of speeding metal. Temari's face twitched into a grin as she drew her fan. Finally a jutsu that she could fight against without it exploding in her face. Wind release, raging gale. The cloud of metal were batted aside with ease. But Temari knew immediately that she had made a mistake. She had lost track of her opponent. Temari yelped as she felt a pair of hands grab her ankles. Earth release, headhunter jutsu, Sasuke's smug voice said from behind Temari, who was buried up to her neck in the ground. Temari growled when she heard her fan being kicked aside. Sasuke crouched down behind Temari and put a kunai to her throat. Give up, you're done. Temari snarled, but she knew that he was right. I give up, she growled. Winner. Sasuke Uchiha of Konoha, Genma announced as a loud roar rang through the stadium. Sasuke permitted himself a small smirk at the cheers raining down around him. It felt good to be cheered for winning rather than just his family name. Nicely done, Naruto said when Sasuke reached the viewing room. Congratulations, Sasuke-kun, Sakura said, smiling at her teammate. The Uchiha heir nodded to his teammates. So Shikamaru, you're up now, Naruto said. What's your plan? Shikamaru looked at his blonde comrade. It would be too troublesome to explain right now, he said, pushing off the railing and walked toward the stairwell that led down to the arena floor. He's probably going to forfeit, Sasuke said once Shikamaru had left the room. He doesn't have the stomach for a fight like this. Don't count Shikamaru out yet, Naruto chuckled. He could have given up in the preliminaries but didn't. If there is one guy who will have a plan, it's Shikamaru. I'll bet you 100 Ryu that Shikamaru wins against Karen. Deal, Sasuke said. If Shikamaru loses or forfeits, I win. You got it? Naruto said, shaking Sasuke's hand. Sakura just shook her head at her teammate's antics. Doesn't Sasuke-kun know that Naruto never loses a bet? She thought. Troublesome. Why do I always have to fight a girl? Shikamaru grumbled as he approached Genma and Karen. What did you say? Karen growled. You think that just because I'm a girl that I'll just give up? You sexist pig. Troublesome, Shikamaru repeated, causing Genma to chuckle. Looks like I better start this one, he commented. The third match of the Chunin selection finals, between Shikamaru Nara and Karen, will now begin. At the signal, Karen charged Shikamaru, drawing a kunai from her pouch. Shikamaru drew his own kunai and met Karen's charge. The sound of two kunai meeting rang through the stadium. What is she doing? Sasuke muttered. She has to know that the Nara clan's jutsus work better at close range. Remember that this Karen uses Fuinjutsu to fight, Naruto said. She didn't show much in her fight against Choji except for that Fuinjutsu trap, so we don't know a lot about her. Sasuke conceded the point with a nod and turned back to the fight. Shikamaru was blocking the rapid kunai strikes from Karen as he backpedaled away from the redhead. Stand and fight, you coward, Karen shouted as she continued slashing wildly at Shikamaru with her kunai. I'd rather not, Shikamaru said. I don't want to fight, but my mother would be too troublesome to deal with if I forfeited or lost. So it's time I get started. Shikamaru opened his left hand and a light bomb dropped from it. Karen saw Shikamaru grin and cursed. She leapt backward and closed her eyes to shield them from the bomb. Shadow possession jutsu success, Karen heard Shikamaru say as her body froze and ceased listening to her commands. What? Karen cried. How? Deception, Shikamaru answered. I knew that everyone had seen me use the light bomb in the preliminary, so it was easy to make a fake to fool you. See, Karen felt her head move and she saw the light bomb that Shikamaru had dropped was a fake. Now to end this, shadow strangulation jutsu. Two shadowy hands rose from Shikamaru's and Karen's connected shadows and began to crawl up Karen's legs. You know what happens next, Shikamaru said. You can't break free of my jutsu, and once those hands reach your neck, it will be all over for you, so just give up. Never, Karen growled, struggling against Shikamaru's jutsu. I am going to kick your ass for making that sexist comment. What did I say that was sexist? Shikamaru asked, tilting his head. You know exactly what you said, Karen shouted. You said that fighting a girl was beneath you. What? Shikamaru said, confused. I didn't say that. You girls always have to make everything into such a big deal. I didn't mean anything by saying I had to fight a girl. I just don't like fighting in general. Then give up, Karen argued. If I did that, then my mom and my teammate would shout and scream, Shikamaru explained. And that would be even more troublesome than fighting. So I'll ask you again. Give up. Never, Karen shouted, continuing her struggles. Fine then, Shikamaru said gruffly. The two shadowy hands slid back down to the ground, releasing Karen much to the kunoichi's surprise. But before Karen could react, Shikamaru made another hand sign. Shadow Spikes Jutsu. Karen screamed in pain as two black spikes shot from Shikamaru's shadow and pierced Karen's legs above her knees. The spikes retreated back to Shikamaru's shadow and Karen fell to the ground, clutching her legs and trying to stem the blood that was staining her pants and the dirt around her. Winner Shikamaru Nara, Ganma announced. The crowd, a vast majority of them being Konoha citizens, erupted into cheers as another Konoha shinobi defeated their foreign opponent. Shikamaru walked slowly off the field as the medical team came out to put Karen onto a stretcher. Shikamaru could hear Karen groaning in pain as she was lifted off the ground and placed on the stretcher. Well done, Shikamaru heard Naruto say when he reached the viewing room where the others were watching. Thanks, Shikamaru said. Then the Nara air froze at the feeling of bloodlust rolling off the red-haired Suna ninja, and he, Sasuke, and Sakura all turned toward Gaara. The Suna ninja was staring at Naruto with crazed eyes and a twisted and bloodthirsty smile. Sakura shivered at the look on the boy's face and looked over at her blonde teammate. Naruto was looking right back at Gaara with hard and flat eyes. Would Naruto Uzumaki and Gaara Sabaku please come down here? Ganma's voice rang through the stadium. Gaara slowly dissolved into a cloud of sand that floated out of the viewing box, with Naruto standing right in the middle of its path. Be careful, Naruto, Sakura said quickly as Naruto hopped up onto the railing. There is something seriously creepy about that guy. Don't worry, Sakura-chan, Naruto said. I can handle this guy. He's a lot like me, or at least what I would have become if I hadn't found my precious people and found my Nindo. You mean he's a... Sasuke said. Yep, Naruto said. So I'm the only one who can fight him, and don't worry, I can kick his ass no problem. Naruto Uzumaki. Get your ass down here, Ganma shouted. If you aren't down here in... He stopped when Naruto appeared in front of the Konoha Jonin. Took you long enough, Uzumaki. Not taking after your sensei, are you? Did you say something? Naruto asked. Ganma laughed loudly at Naruto's quip. Well played, he said. Now then, the final match of the first round of the Chunin Selection Finals has arrived. This match will be between Naruto Uzumaki and Gaara Sabaku. Now are both combatants ready? Naruto nodded while Gaara did nothing. Okay then. Since you two are ready, let the match begin.